Chapter 1366. Under such circumstances, Dongli Chihuang made use of the power he had gained from dominating the purifying demon alliance to cleanse the evil spirits. Without the demon king Du Xiaofu to obstruct him, his reputation soared once again and his name spread throughout Kyushu. Because the demon king Du Xiaofu's whereabouts were unknown, there had been no news of him for a long time. In addition, Sima Muhan of the Ancient Heaven sect had not appeared, and Cheng Xingnan of the Divine Light Court had not appeared for a long time as well. There was also Du Xiaoqing of the Du family of the Desolate Country, who was once one of the top 10 Heaven's prides, but there had been no news of her either. Dongli Chihuang had now become the leader of the younger generation in the entire Central Plains. Even Jiu Ling and Wu Ming found it difficult to contend against him. Dongli Chihuang's rise had also attracted many small and medium-sized forces for the Great Luin sect, and many small and medium-sized forces in the Central Plains had taken the initiative to approach the Great Luin sect. On the Ancient Heaven sect, there was a huge mountain peak surrounded by mountains. It was surrounded by lush green mountains and clouds, and in the distance, there were thousands of mountains that rose and fell, looking magnificent and boundless. Junior Nephew Sect Master, it's been so long. Is there any news of Xiaofu? An old man in white robes stood quietly on the mountain peak. He had the demeanor of an immortal, white hair, and a white beard. He carried an ancient sword on his back, and his eyes were filled with anticipation. It was Elder Gu Qingyang. Sima Taxing gazed into the distance, his green robes fluttering in the wind. He then turned to look at Elder Gu Qingyang and said, "Senior uncle, don't worry. Although we've temporarily lost news of Xiaofu, we've received news that Xiaofu is currently in the Beast region. That's not the territory of the Devil religion. No matter how powerful the Devil religion is, they can't reach into the Beast region. The lack of news at least means that Xiaofu should be safe for now. The Manchu has also sent more spies to the Beast region to investigate Xiaofu's whereabouts. I'm useless. I can't even protect my own disciple. I'm not worthy of being his master." Gu Qingyang slightly raised his eyes. His ruddy face was filled with deep self-blame. If he couldn't even protect his own disciple, how could he be his master? "Senior uncle, don't blame yourself too much. Xiaofu is also a disciple of my Ancient Heaven sect. It's our sect's fault for not being enough. There's fear everywhere. The great calamity is imminent, and the Devil religion is unfathomable." Sima Taxing sighed. His long black hair was neatly combed into a bun. His skin had a faint luster, and his eyes flickered with a deep, glass-like light. "Junior Nephew Sect Master, there's no need to say more. I understand." Elder Gu Qingyang interrupted Sima Taxing. He looked up at the sky and said, "I believe that Xiaofu is blessed with great fortune. He'll definitely be fine. Perhaps it won't be long before he returns to the Central Plains." The Dark Forest, the border of the Central Plains. At this moment, the Dark Forest was no longer the Dark Forest of the past. In these years, under the control of the World Society, the entire Dark Forest had become exceptionally prosperous. Especially the Chaos Demon City and the Dark City. Their prosperity was renowned throughout the Central Plains. Compared to the Chaos Demon City and the Dark City, the Stone City was even more famous. The Stone City was the #1 capital of the Desolate Country. Its area had expanded over the years, almost reaching the Lanling City. In these years, the experts of the World Society didn't have the time to go out and train themselves. They had all made a name for themselves. Medicine King Wuming, Eagle King, Mysterious Dragon King, Stone Turtle King, Ice Python King, Flame Carp King, Extinction Sword King, Golden Condor King, and others had all grown in strength over the years. There were also Chao Yu, Hua Fankong, He Jun, Guokuan, Meng Laikai, and Han Xan. They had all shown their talents. The outside world knew that these people were the backbone of the World Society. As for the most shocking members of the World Society, they were the legendary Sky Guards. Back in the sealed ancient land, Yi Piaoling, Chengguyu, Anya Ying, Duo Sha, Yin Yen in Tianjue, Gu Wuing, Stone, and Silver Fox were all people who had stepped onto the lightning attraction platform. There were only a few people in the Central Plains who had stepped onto the lightning attraction platform. Yi Piaoling and the others had 9 of them. Later on, it was rumored that these 9 people were the sky guards of the World Society. This was shocking. However, in these years, the sky guards of the World Society had only appeared once in a peak second-rate sect. They had also left behind a shocking legend. It was rumored that the 7 of them had swept through a sect and left. After that, there was no more news about them. Recently, the sky guards were like the Demon King, Du Xiaofu. There was very little news about them. No one knew if they were still in the Central Plains. As far as the World Society was concerned, the news that outsiders received was about the 3 women. There were even people in the Central Plains who secretly discussed that although the World Society was controlled by Du Yunlong, Medicine King Yi Wuming, Eagle King, and Gong Dao, there were 3 women behind them who could not be ignored. They were Murong Yoro, Li Shui, and Yi Zijin of the Stone City's Yi family. It was rumored that Murong Yorua and the other 2 women had been in control of the World Society. In just a few years, the World Society had developed into an absolute second-rate power in the Central Plains. It was even more unfathomable. It was difficult for outsiders to pry into its true strength. Moreover, everyone knew that the World Society had another important and terrifying power. It was the Heavenly Beast Hall. The Heavenly Beast Hall's silver-winged demonic condor, housefly wing, tiger-subduing mastiff, and other demonic beast kings, as well as the thousands of demonic beast army in the Heavenly Beast Hall, were existences that any power feared. Stone City, Imperial Palace. In a side hall, the sun was shining brightly in the sky. The Imperial Palace's draconic aura rippled. At this moment, 3 beautiful figures were seated in the main hall. Although the 3 women were seated, it wasn't difficult to see that their figures were graceful and graceful. Just their backs were enough to make one's imagination run wild. Big Sister Yorua, there's still no news of the president. The Ancient Heaven sect, and we only know that the president went to the Beast region and encountered dragons. There's also a possibility that he encountered the golden-winged great rocks. Among the 3 women, one was charming and alluring. Her figure was graceful and graceful, as if she was silently seducing others. She was Li Shui. She had graduated from Tianwu Academy and had been in the World Society all these years. She had always been a core member of the World Society. Among the 3 women, one of them appeared to be 26 or 27 years old. She sat upright, appearing graceful and delicate. Her lustrous black hair cascaded down her slender waist. She was as beautiful as a fairy who had walked out of a painting. She was Murong Yorua. Hearing Li Shui's words, Murong Yorua frowned. A moment later, she parted her red lips and said softly, "Continue the search. I've already made the arrangements. The Ancient Heaven sect has been in contact with us. I believe that as long as the president shows himself in the Beast region, we'll be able to receive news." Li Shui's soft and slender waist nodded. A deep, white cleavage appeared in front of her chest. It was full of temptation. "Let's hope we can find him soon. We still have to be wary of that devil religion." Murong Yorua's expression hardened, but it couldn't conceal her ancient aura. Her temperament was refined. Perhaps it's safest if he doesn't show himself right now. The 3rd woman, who hadn't spoken up until now, spoke up. Her voice was soft and melodious. Her long skirt outlined her graceful curves. She exuded an elegant and charming aura. She looked at Murong Yorua and Li Shui with a frown. She continued, "The devil religion is unfathomable. If he shows himself, the devil religion will naturally come knocking on our door. He didn't even send news back to the desolate country and the Ancient Heaven sect because he doesn't want to implicate them. Perhaps he'll return when he feels he's strong enough." Murong Yorua and Li Shui didn't say anything as they listened to the woman's words. Both of their charming faces looked serious as they sighed. "Perhaps we don't need to worry too much. Based on my understanding of that guy, he's definitely fine right now. Perhaps when he shows himself again, he'll bring us a pleasant surprise." The woman smiled and blinked her bright black eyes. She was Yi Zijin. She'd been staying in Stone City for a while. Using her connections, she'd been able to enter the World Society. Together with Li Shui and Murong Yorua, her reputation had spread far and wide. Whoosh! Suddenly, there was the sound of wind breaking. A blood-red light swept over, bringing with it a bloody aura as it rushed into the main hall. The three women raised their eyes and looked at the blood-red light that swept into the side hall. There wasn't any panic in their eyes. Instead, they smiled. "Sister Phantom, did you get any news?" Li Shui stood up. Her beautiful figure curved seductively as she asked the figure in the blood-red light. "Shou Sha Hun Xie, and I went out this time. The news we got is a little strange." The voice was soft and charming. As the voice sounded, the blood-red light converged and a graceful figure emerged. Her bright red silk dress trailed on the ground. Her beautiful black hair was tied up with a few bright red hair ribbons. Her beautiful figure was extremely seductive. "Sister Phantom, did you get any news?" Yi Zijin raised her eyebrows and asked the woman. The woman smiled faintly. She was as elegant and pure as a budding lotus flower. However, there was also a hidden charm. She was the phantom that Du Xiaofu had brought back from the sealed ancient land. Her original form was a red spider lily. She could be considered a demon spirit. Looking at Yi Zijin, Phantom said, "We found some evil spirits to inquire." The evil spirits that came to Central Province are basically evil spirits from other provinces who came to avoid the evil purifying alliance. However, there are also evil spirits with complicated origins. What's even stranger is that when we returned, we discovered that many evil spirits had begun to gather on the other side of the river. We found out that those evil spirits intend to cross Central Province's river. Those evil spirits want to cross Central Province's river. Murong Yurua's brows furrowed when she heard this. She stood up with a solemn expression on her face as she softly said, "The Central Province's long river leads to the Million Great Mountains. It's already the territory of our world society. If those evil spirits leap into the dark forest, the flames of war will sweep through and the dark forest might be razed to the ground." Chapter 1367. Beast Killer and Soul Malevolence have already stopped the evil spirits at Zhong Province's Long River. In any case, those evil spirits are also beneficial to us. Since they've delivered themselves to our doorstep, it would be a waste not to take them. Phantom smiled, and a faint bloody aura rippled from her body. Clearly, she had obtained a lot of benefits outside recently. Something's not right. Under Yi Zijin's brows, her dark eyes kept fluctuating as if she was thinking about something. Then she looked up at Murong Yorua, Li Shui, and Phantom and said, "Not many evil spirits have been eliminated. With the strength of the evil purifying alliance, it should be enough to completely wipe them out. Before the other side of Zhong Province's Long River, why are there still opportunities for evil spirits to run around and just happen to come to our territory? The Great Luan Sect's Dongli Qihuang and our world society should have a lot of grudges. Back then, the Great Luan Sect's Clear Luan Emperor barged into Stone City and was killed in the end. The Great Luan Sect will definitely remember this. Also, that Dongli Qihuang seems to have a lot of grudges with President." Under Murong Yorua's long eyelashes, her eyes glowed with spiritual light. She had an ancient charm and was as beautiful as a fairy who had walked out of a painting. However, everyone in the world society knew that Murong Yorua was definitely not a flower vase, but the brains of the entire world society. She was even above Han Xen, which was why she was guarding Stone City while Han Xen was guarding Chaos Demon City. Once the evil spirits crossed Zhong Province's Long River, the evil purifying alliance's army will definitely chase after them. Once a battle breaks out in the dark forest will be razed to the ground. Li Shui's gaze was solemn and her bright eyes glowed. She paused for a moment and said seriously, "If this is Dongli Qihuang's plan to kill two birds with one stone, then he's deliberately targeting our world society. At that time, our world society will definitely be implicated, and the consequences will be severe." "Sister Yura, what should we do now?" Yi Zijin asked. She felt that the situation was serious, and her expression became more and more solemn. Yi Lao, Xiao Man, and the vice president are all in seclusion. I think they are all trying to break through. Unless it is extremely urgent, it is better not to disturb them. Murong Yorua's expression was solemn. Her eyes flickered. After a while, she said, "Inform the great elder, Han Xen, Solitary Sword King, and the others. Just in case, let the Celestial Beast Hall make preparations. All right. Li Shui nodded. Then, Murong Yura looked to Phantom and said, Sister Phantom, I'm afraid I'll have to trouble you. I understand. I will try my best to block those evil spirits from entering the Central Province's Long River with Han Xie and Shou Sha. Phantom stretched lazily. Her figure was so alluring that it could cause a man to have a nosebleed. However, at this moment, no man had the fortune to witness this scene. Chi. As her voice faded, the Phantom's body was wrapped in a blood-colored glow. Her bright red silk dress fluttered, and the blood-colored glow around her body rotated like a vortex. Her figure disappeared from the side hall. Inform the mysterious Dragon King, the Stone Turtle King, the Flame Carp King, and the Ice Python King that the Central Province's Long River was originally their territory. They should be able to help Sister Phantom and them. Murong Yura looked outside the side hall's door. She frowned and muttered softly, This is only the best plan. I hope Sister Phantom can stop those evil spirits from crossing the river. Otherwise, the World Summit and the desolate nation will fall into a great calamity. The sun was setting in the west, and the night was getting darker. As the night sky was like a navy blue curtain that covered the earth, it was so deep that it could not be dissolved. Only a few sparkling stars dotted the vast and boundless sky. A huge mountain stood in the night like a huge tomb. Crash! The night waves of the gorge hit the rocks on both sides. The sound echoed in the deep valley, making it seem even more frightening and cold. On the mountain peak, under the faint starlight, a tall and slender young man in a red robe with golden hair stood quietly. Under the night sky, the spirit in his eyes shone brighter and brighter. Alliance leader. An old man appeared behind the young man. He was covered in a black robe and looked like a ghost under the night sky. He said, The Central Province's Long River is not far ahead. Many people in the Alliance can't wait any longer. They want to stop the last evil spirits before they reach the Central Province's Long River and clean them up. The young man laughed softly. However, it was not difficult for one to hear the faint chilliness in his soft laughter. The young man turned around. He was the reincarnated saint of the Great Luin sect, Dongli Chihuang. He was now the alliance leader of the Purifying Evil Alliance in the Central Province. Back then, he had failed to take second place on the Lightning platform. Later, he had failed again on the Tianhuang continent. However, as the reincarnated saint of the Great Luin sect, he had the state of mind of his previous life. Those two setbacks did not destroy him. Heaven did not let down those who worked hard. With the support of the Great Luin sect's cultivation resources and the opportunity of the Purifying Evil Alliance, Dongli Chihuang rose again. He became the undisputed #1 person of the younger generation in the Central Province. His status was even higher. He controlled the entire Purifying Evil Alliance and cleansed the evil spirits like a hot knife through butter. Dongli Chihuang's reputation soared. Cleansing those evil spirits before the Central Province's Long River? How is that possible? Then won't my plan fail? The eastern mythical Scarlet Phoenix stared at the deep night sky, her eyes twinkling like the brightest stars. Her faint voice rang out, causing those who heard it to feel a warmth seeping into their hearts. She murmured, This time, not only the world gathering, even the desolate country will be uprooted. Back then I was too careless. This time, even if that brat comes back one day, he won't have the chance to make a comeback. The great cause of the Great Luin sect should also begin. Ambitious and ruthless people are born in troubled times. Kid, I'll use you as my first stepping stone. I'll make the best use of you. I won't let you down. Time passed slowly. The younger generation of the golden-winged rocks had been refining their bodies with the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder for more than a month. Rumble. Inside the strange hall, one could faintly hear the sounds of lightning and thunder from outside the hall. It was as if there were continuous thunderclaps. Inside the hall, many golden-winged rocks were entrenched. Under the golden lightning that filled the sky, their flesh was split open. They were in so much pain that they wished they were dead. However, among them, the golden-winged rocks were circulating their techniques. Golden light flickered as they took the opportunity to absorb the power of the golden lightning to refine their bodies, their flesh, their feathers, their organs, their bones, and their muscles. Inside the hall, Jialo Juiyu, Jialo Juekong, and the others were in extreme pain from the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder that was even more domineering and destructive. The pain seemed to penetrate deep into their bones. The domineering golden crow's heaven-burning thunder seemed to want to destroy everything in their bodies. The destructive power and the terrifying heat made it even harder for their bodies to resist. However, they were still stubbornly resisting. They took the opportunity to refine their divine bodies and strengthen them gradually. On the second level, Little Star's enormous body was entrenched. Golden light spread out as it absorbed the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder. On the first level at the bottom, Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged. His entire body was absorbing the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder to refine his divine body. Qi La. The destructive lightning gathered by the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder surged into Du Xiaofu's body. Golden arcs of lightning quickly overflowed inside his body. Although Du Xiaofu could resist the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder at this moment. However, the numerous wild and overbearing destructive thunderbolt strength overflowed within his body. That impact caused Du Xiaofu to feel quite uncomfortable. He even felt as though time was passing by endlessly. However, under the body-refining method of the golden-winged great roc, Du Xiaofu could clearly feel that his physical body seemed to be gradually changing under the torture of the destructive power of the lightning. Every time the golden crow's heaven-burning thunders surged into his body, Du Xiaofu could feel that the golden crow's heaven-burning thunder brought a miraculous change to his physical body. As long as this continued, there might be a day when his physical body would be able to undergo an astonishing change from its original foundation. Time passed slowly. He was still suffering from this kind of boring forging. Although it was forging and tempering, this kind of boring forging and tempering was also a kind of absolute torture. Without patience and wisdom, one would not be able to endure this kind of boring torture. However, for Du Xiaofu, he had endured the tug-of-war with the earth-shattering thunder when he was forging his body with the purple gold profound thunder in the purple thunder profound cauldron. At this moment, this was nothing. It was not to the point where it could make things difficult for Du Xiaofu. The boring time continued to pass. Du Xiaofu could faintly feel that his bones, muscles, limbs, bones, and internal organs were all changing once again, as if they were steel that had been tempered 100 times in a raging fire. Although this kind of change was extremely slow, it became more and more obvious under the accumulation of time. Sizzle. Everywhere in the hall, golden electric arcs were overflowing with fluctuations. All the disciples of the golden-winged Great Roc clan were gritting their teeth as they forged their physical bodies. At this moment, no one noticed that some of the fluctuations of the golden electric arcs were gradually becoming abnormal. It seemed that unknowingly, the destructive power of the blazing lightning was becoming more and more powerful. In the space at the bottom of the hall, the golden lightning that filled the sky became more and more powerful, making it more and more difficult for Du Xiaofu's physical body to resist. Unknowingly, it was already late autumn. In the golden-winged Great Roc clan, the energy of heaven and earth was rich, and everywhere was verdant. However, there were also many mountain ranges that seemed to be plated with a layer of gold. The frost leaves were intoxicating, and the maple leaves were like fire. It was like a red sea, and the yellow and red colors were connected, covering half of the sky. In the courtyard at the mountainside, under the towering tree, Zi Xian stood quietly. Her purple clothes fluttered on the ground, and the dark patterns of the purple flames were faintly discernible, outlining her seductive figure. She was like an otherworldly fairy. Withered yellow leaves fell from the top of the tree. They jumped and spun, as if they were dancing and fluttering. Zi Xian raised her slender hand slightly, and a few fallen leaves fell into her palm. Her every movement was breathtaking. If you are bored, you can walk around my clan. A sound of nature was heard, and a beautiful figure strangely landed behind Zi Xian. Chapter 1368. I'm afraid I can't go to the places in the golden-winged roc clan. The celestial voice was faint. Zi Xian looked back. A tall and beautiful figure appeared in front of her. She had a valiant face and a noble temperament. It was Jialo Kailing. When Jialo Kailing heard this, she smiled and said in a heavenly voice, "There are some places in the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan that I can't enter even if I want to." The two women looked at each other and smiled. One was hot and seductive, and the other was charming and elegant. They had different temperaments, but they were both noble. Your relationship with little Xingxing and Du Xiaofu seems to be quite complicated. After a while, Jialo Kailing walked over and asked Zixian. Zixian stood still, and her purple dress fluttered in the wind. She opened her red lips and said, "I don't need to tell outsiders." Jialo Kailing was slightly stunned, and a faint golden light flashed in her eyes. She then smiled and said, "I'm just asking. It seems that it's a bit complicated. Has his mystic bone and golden rock wings been completely dealt with in your clan?" Zixian suddenly asked, looking at Jialo Kailing. "He is now Grandma's godson. The elders have also discussed and decided that he is now a member of my clan. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to enter the secret land to refine his divine body." Jialo Kailing looked at Zixian and said softly, "With the personality of the Purple Flame Demonic Phoenix clan, it's rare to see you care so much about a human. With the personality of the Golden Winged Rock clan, you shouldn't be interested in his matters," Zixian said softly. "Ah." Jialo Kailing giggled and said, "He is now a member of my clan. It's normal for me to ask a few more questions." Buzz. As Jialo Kailing's voice fell, a hurried bell chime reverberated in the sky. The sound was rapid and sharp, and it was ear-piercing. "Oh no, there is a problem in the secret land." Hearing the ear-piercing bell chime, Jialo Kailing's eyes shone with golden light. Her feet flashed, and her beautiful figure disappeared from the mountainside courtyard. Zixian looked at the sky, and a purple light flashed in her eyes. She frowned slightly. The vast space was filled with golden electric arcs, and the rumbling of thunder could be heard without end. Rumble. Thunderous booms reverberated in the air. At that moment, the gigantic hall in the shape of the great golden winged rock was completely covered in golden lightning. Their vision was almost blurred, and the entire space was so bright that they could not see anything. It was unknown where the golden lightning came from, but it was getting brighter and brighter. The aura of destruction was getting stronger and stronger, as if it wanted to destroy everything. The temperature of the golden lightning arc was so high that it seemed to be able to burn the space. At this moment, runes flickered above the huge hall that was shaped like a golden winged rock, converging into a visible energy barrier. It was densely covered in mysterious runes, isolating the entire hall from the golden lightning outside and preventing the violent golden lightning within the hall from rushing out. The great hall in the shape of a golden winged rock was covered with mysterious runes. No matter how violent and destructive the golden lightning was, it was unable to destroy the energy shield. Crackle, crackle, crackle. The golden lightning struck the great hall in the shape of a golden winged rock. Under the violent power and the high temperature that could burn the space, a deep sonic boom could be heard from time to time. The violent and destructive energy ripples continued to spread out. Outside the great hall in the shape of a golden winged rock, there were many old and middle-aged people standing there. The fourth elder, the fifth elder, and the great guardian were among them. The leaders were the great elder, the second elder, and the third elder. "Greetings, elders." Jialo Kailing's beautiful figure appeared in the space. After bowing to the elders, she looked at the huge hall. At this moment, the golden lightning that filled the sky and the violent and destructive aura that permeated the air shocked Jialo Kailing. Her eyes were filled with golden light, and golden light surged out from her body to resist the violent and destructive aura. The great elder's tall figure stood quietly in front of everyone. His light golden hair swayed slightly under the violent aura. His silver gold robe fluttered in the wind. His aura was calm, and his eyes were slightly closed. His mind was spying on something at this moment. The golden crow burning sky lightning wants to break free again. It seems that the 100 years of silence was just a preparation. After a few breaths, the great elder opened his eyes. His beard and eyebrows were white, and his eyebrows were slightly furrowed on his old face. It really makes us worry. Does it think that it can break free at the initial domain realm? The second elder seemed a little old, but standing beside the great elder, his invisible aura was not affected much. At this moment, his face was slightly gloomy, and the space around him was distorted. The golden crow burning sky lightning is cunning. Is it prepared to break free this time? The third elder frowned. He was dressed in a scholarly robe, and his eyes were filled with doubt. Elders, they are in the secret land. Will there be any problems? Jialo Kaling asked the elders in front of her worriedly. At this moment, the golden crow burning sky lightning wanted to break free, and all the younger generation were still refining their bodies inside. There are seals and restrictions placed by our ancestors inside. The golden crow burning sky lightning shouldn't be able to create any big waves. They won't have any big problems, but we can't be careless. The great protector said. Golden crow burning sky lightning, you know that you can't break free. Why are you struggling? We have already told you that as long as you agree to serve our clan for 30,000 years, you will be able to regain your freedom. We will not let you lose your sunlight. Why are you doing this? The third elder's robe shook as he looked at the hall. Although his voice was soft, it clearly resounded through the space. 30,000 years. How long is that? Why should I serve your golden-winged rock clan for 30,000 years? Above the space where lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, a wild laughter suddenly rang out. The sound was like thunder, and it reverberated in the space, causing the lightning in the surroundings to become even more violent. Hearing this, the third elder's expression immediately became even more serious. A dazzling golden light suddenly shot out from his eyes, as if a golden-winged great peng was about to fly out of his eyes. He growled, since you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit, then continue to be suppressed. You have no hope of escaping. Above the space, the wild laughter was like thunder, endlessly ringing out. Hearing the wild laughter that was like thunder, the first elder, second elder, and third elder's faces all turned solemn. Their faces darkened slightly as they faintly sensed that something was wrong. You can suppress me, but I don't know if you can save the younger generation of your clan. Did you think that I didn't make any preparations over the years? I have prepared for 1,000 years for today. 1,000 years. Unbridled wild laughter echoed in the air. When the last word of the laughter sounded, the entire space suddenly fell into a strange tremor. Rumble. The entire space seemed to be quaking and shaking. The large hall that was shaped like a golden-winged great peng also began to shake violently. High up in the sky, numerous golden lightning bolts that were as thick as an arm rained down on the large hall like a storm, causing cracks to appear on the ground. On the square in front of the hall, many elders waved their sleeves. Golden light surged out from their bodies, turning into golden energy barriers that enveloped the surroundings. They instantly blocked the wild and destructive energy outside the energy barriers. Chi! Jialo Kaling's face changed color. She waved her delicate hand, and a vigorous golden energy swept out and wrapped around her, isolating her from the wild and destructive aura of the golden lightning. Not good. The evil thunder wants to attack Ju Yu and the others. The great guardian, Jialo Huanyu, was also enveloped in a golden halo. His face turned pale as he looked at the hall in front of him solemnly. First elder, they will be in danger. Is there any way to get them out first? Jialo Kaling's eyes surged with golden light as she hurriedly asked the first elder. There is no way. No one above the domain realm can enter the hall. The first elder shook his head at Jialo Kaling. He looked at the golden-winged rock-shaped hall in front of him and said, however, there are seals and restrictions set up by our ancestors in the hall. It should be impossible for the evil thunder to deal with them. Not good. Suddenly, the great elder's voice came to an abrupt halt. He looked into the hall and immediately closed his eyes. A vigorous energy fluctuation immediately swept out from between his eyebrows. The vigorous fluctuation was invisible, but it caused the space to fluctuate. Wherever it passed, traces of golden light overflowed and resisted the wild and destructive golden lightning. Looking at the first elder's action, the second elder, the third elder, the great guardian, Jalo Kaling, the fourth elder, and the others fixed their gazes on the first elder. Their eyes glowed with a golden brilliance. The great elder peeked out with his mind. It was as if he had reached the end of this space. There was a bright golden sea of lightning there, boiling like golden lava. It was extremely strange and bright. A scorching heat was distorting the void. At this moment, the terrifying power that was being emitted out of nowhere was enough to turn any ordinary honorable realm cultivator into ashes if he got close to it. At this moment, the golden sea of lightning was like a reflection of a huge golden-winged rock. At the bottom of the hall, golden talisman engravings shrouded the hall like a spider web. However, the light was getting dimmer and cracks were beginning to appear. The cracks were getting bigger and bigger. The rolling golden lightning was pouring into the hall like a stream of water. Chi. Outside the hall, the first elder, who was on the square, suddenly opened his eyes. Golden light gushed out from the depths of his eyes and he looked extremely dignified. First elder, how is it? The great guardian, Jialo Huanyu, asked the first elder. It's not good. The evil thunder has been pretending to break out and attack the hall. In fact, it's just lulling us. Its real purpose is to quietly burn the seals and restrictions in the hall for thousands of years. We have been fooled. All the younger generation of the clan is facing imminent disaster. The first elder said. His old face began to tremble. Chapter 1369. This is bad. Once the golden crow sky-burning lightning enters the main hall, Jueyu and the others will not be able to resist it. Fifth Elder Jialo Yuantu's body trembled. There was a seal within the main hall. After it was activated, the golden crow sky-burning lightning could only enter within a certain range to allow the younger generation of the clan to refine their divine bodies and ensure that the strength of the golden crow sky-burning lightning was within their range of resistance. However, if the seal disappeared, the golden crow sky-burning lightning would lose its obstruction and isolation. It would be enough to deal a devastating blow to the younger generation of the clan who were refining their divine bodies. It should be known that the main hall was located within the territory of the golden crow sky-burning lightning. Elder, what should we do now? Jialo Kaling was anxious. The severity of the matter was self-evident. There is no other way. Unless Jialo Jueyu and the others can sense that something is wrong and come out immediately. However, I'm afraid it's already too late. The seal inside has already been destroyed. It's already too late for them to come out. The great elder's aged face was very solemn. Great elder, can we destroy the main hall and save them? Jialo Kaling asked the great elder. Since domain realm cultivators could not enter the main hall, they should be able to destroy it directly. If they were too late, the consequences for the younger generation of the clan would be really serious. This palace was originally set up by the ancestors of the clan in order to suppress the golden crow burning heaven lightning. As a precaution, the ancestors of the clan had also made preparations. Once the golden crow burning heaven lightning was able to break through the seal and escape, the palace would be destroyed. Once the main hall is destroyed, the entire space will collapse and automatically activate a set of defensive seals left behind by the clan's ancestors. It will be able to completely suppress the golden crow sky-burning lightning and isolate it in the void. 100 years later, the seal will disappear. At that time, it will be enough time for us to prepare everything to suppress the golden crow sky-burning lightning. The great elder looked at the main hall in the shape of a golden rock that was being ravaged by golden lightning. His eyes were solemn as he said, "Therefore, even if we destroy the main hall, we will not be able to enter it. We will only completely seal them inside. At that time, it will be even more difficult for them to escape." How could this be? Jialo Kailing's expression was extremely solemn. She looked at the main hall in front of her. Even the great elder, second elder, and third elder couldn't think of a solution. She was even more powerless. Whoosh! The sound of rushing wind resounded, coming from high up in the sky. A faint golden light rippled, and a tall and majestic golden figure descended in front of the many elders. A long-haired old man who looked to be in his 60s walked out. His golden robe was embroidered with the image of a golden-winged rock. It was as if it was alive, and it was releasing a pressure. Patriarch. The surrounding elders and protectors immediately saluted. The person who had come was the patriarch of the golden-winged Great Peng clan, Jialo Changtian. Great Elder, what's the situation now? When Jialo Changtian appeared, his gaze immediately fell on the main hall. His aura was ethereal, but it was incomparably domineering. The situation is not good. The evil thunder has been secretly destroying the seal below for 1,000 years. This time, its purpose should be to deal with the younger generation of our clan who entered the seal, the Great Elder said in a deep voice. We were careless. Jialo Changtian looked dignified. At this moment, there was not much aura spreading out from his body, but it made the surrounding space fluctuate abnormally. Patriarch, once the evil thunder comes out, what should we do? The third elder looked at Jialo Changtian, his golden eyes deep. At this moment, he seemed to be making a difficult decision in his heart. We must not let the evil thunder come out. It's daytime outside now. Once the evil thunder comes out, even if we can suppress it with the characteristics of the evil thunder, it will inevitably lead to a catastrophe in our clan, Jialo Changtian said with a dignified look. But Jialo Jueyu and the others are still inside. Jialo Jueyu still has the true bone in his body, which is the future of our clan, the second elder said. The outside is the foundation of our clan. There are more disciples in the clan, and those young ones are even more powerless in front of the evil thunder, Jialo Changtian said with a dignified look. He was in a dilemma. Father, Jialo Jueyu and the others are still inside. Is there really no other way? Jialo Kai Ling listened to the conversation between her father and the other elders. She became more and more dignified, but she still asked again, hoping that her father had a final solution. It seems that they are already trapped inside. The evil thunder wants to deal with them, but I'm afraid that it doesn't want to kill them. Most likely, it wants to use them as a hostage to escape. Jialo Changtian stood with his hands behind his back and said, if that's the case, there is still a chance, at least we can save them. Patriarch, if that's the case, we must give up the golden crow burning sky lightning. If we lose the golden crow burning sky lightning, it will affect our clan too much. The third elder frowned slightly and said, that evil thunder is so cunning, I'm afraid that it won't let them go easily. Act according to the circumstances, Jialo Changtian said, his eyes fixed on the hall in front of him. Rumble, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. The sound was like endless thunder. What's going on? It seems that something is wrong. Under the increasing heat of the destructive aura, it finally attracted Du Xiaofu's attention. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's thunder martial vein and primordial spirit, which contained two spiritual lightnings, were fluctuating more violently. The surrounding golden thunderbolts were also getting bigger. Is there a problem with the golden crow burning sky lightning? Under the increasingly intense golden crow burning sky lightning's wild and overbearing destructive aura, Du Xiaofu's resistance had almost reached its limit. Golden light surged out from both of his eyes. He could not help but be worried about one thing. This huge reaction from the golden crow burning sky lightning might really cause it to erupt. Bang bang bang. Just as Du Xiaofu was worrying, in the depths of the vast space, which was overflowing with golden light and thunderbolts, there was a series of thunders. Rumble. Then, from the depths of the strange space, a large amount of golden thunderbolts poured down from the sky like a waterfall. The entire strange space shook violently, as if it was about to collapse. GG. Cries of golden-winged great rocks resounded. Then, huge golden-winged great rocks appeared in the space. Ao, a huge dragon was in the sky. Its body was overflowing with golden lightning. Its eyes were demonic and golden flames surged out. Its aura was supreme. It was Little Xingxing's original body. Pu Piu. The further back in the space, the more golden-winged great rocks spat out golden blood from their mouths amidst the golden thunderbolts. Under the sweeping golden thunderbolts that filled the sky, many golden-winged great rocks were split open. Their feathers flew, revealing their white bones. Du Xiaofu's body was wrapped in golden light. He saw Little Xingxing's huge body, as well as Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, Jialo Jueo and the others in the sky. Father, there seems to be a big problem here. Little Xingxing's original body was in the sky. It immediately circled beside Du Xiaofu. Its huge body lowered as it looked at Du Xiaofu with its huge golden flame eyes. It's not just a problem. It's big trouble. Du Xiaofu smiled bitterly. His heart was almost breaking down. What he was afraid of had happened. Looking at the current situation, it was not difficult for Du Xiaofu to know that it was not the golden crow sky-burning lightning that had rebelled. Little Xingxing, Jialo Jueyu and all the younger generation of the golden-winged great rocks could appear in the space. It was definitely because the golden crow sky-burning lightning had destroyed the seal inside. Ah, damn golden-winged great rocks. You've trapped me in darkness for 4,000 years. Today, I'll collect some interest. A wild and furious roar resounded in the sky just as the huge bodies of the golden-winged great rocks appeared. When this voice spread and landed in everyone's ears, it was like a heavy hammer. Even with the cultivation of Du Xiaofu, Little Xingxing, Jialo Jueyu and the others, they could not help but feel their hearts skip a beat. Just as that heart-stopping voice fell, a series of earth-shattering explosions sounded from the dazzling electric arcs in the sky. In the next moment, the wild and scorching aura of destruction became more and more violent. Dazzling golden lightning exploded and bolts of golden lightning struck down. There were probably tens of thousands of these bolts of golden lightning. The entire space was filled with the sharp sound of the explosion. It was as if the entire space was filled with continuous crackling sounds. Wherever the golden lightning passed, the space also collapsed. They were all bolts of lightning that were as thick as an arm and carried a terrifying force as they struck down. At this moment, these waves of terrifying destructive auras were probably capable of blasting an ordinary Exalt Realm cultivator into pieces. Not good, the strong protect the weak. Jialo Jueyu shouted. He spread his wings and exploded with golden light. He used all his strength to protect many of the weaker golden-winged great rocks near him. Jialo Juekong, Jialo Jueo and the other peak existences of the younger generation all used all their strength to protect the young. Crackle! The space trembled. The tens of thousands of bolts of golden lightning finally landed on the huge bodies of the golden-winged great rocks. Many of the golden-winged great rocks spat out blood again. Their feathers fluttered as they cried out in pain. Boom! The dense golden lightning struck down. The vast and violent destructive power far exceeded the power of refining the divine body. It was not something that ordinary cultivators could withstand. My life is over. A golden-winged great rock with a weak cultivation narrowed his eyes. His body was covered in blood, revealing his white bones. His sharp eyes were filled with despair. The dense golden lightning struck down. At this moment, he knew that he could not withstand it. Jialo Jueyu and the others were too far away to protect him. Crackle! Right at this moment, a seemingly tiny figure appeared in the air above the enormous golden-winged great rock. Dazzling golden light surged out from his body, completely withstanding the golden lightning in the surrounding space. Chapter 1370. Crackle! All the golden lightning bolts fell. They had originally covered the gigantic golden-winged rock's body, but now they were all blocked by the tiny figure. In the end, they turned into a mushroom cloud of golden lightning and retracted, surging into the body of the tiny figure. Thud thud. Under the impact of such golden lightning, the tiny figure also staggered back several dozen feet before stabilizing himself. The purple robes on his body fluttered, wrapped in golden light, and his eyes overflowed with golden lightning. In this space, other than Du Xiaofu, there was no one else. When the golden lightning fell, Du Xiaofu also let out a muffled groan. Under the impact of the scorching destructive aura, his internal organs were also severely impacted. Fortunately, in the end, Du Xiaofu did not suffer too much damage. With the thunder martial veins in his body and his freakish physical body, he had a lot of advantages. At this moment, under the tremendous impact, traces of golden lightning overflowed on Du Xiaofu's body. Then, his physical body seemed to undergo a minute change that was difficult to detect with the naked eye. The enormous golden crow-burning sky thunders surged into his body. Under the circulation of Du Xiaofu's body cultivation method, his divine body was refined, and the benefits his physical body received increased. During this period of time, as he refined his divine body, Du Xiaofu could feel his physical body metamorphosing once again. However, it seemed that he was still quite far away from refining his divine body into the body of a true rock. He did not know when he would be able to achieve that. Du Xiaofu had not completely sacrificed himself to help the golden-winged rock just now. He had only taken advantage of his physical body. Since he still needed the golden crow-burning sky thunder to refine his divine body, he had reached out to help. After all, he was now considered a member of the golden-winged rock clan. However, at this moment, the gigantic golden-winged rock that Du Xiaofu had saved thought that it was definitely going to die. It did not expect that at the critical moment, it would be saved by the human Du Xiaofu. After recovering from its daze, the golden-winged rock looked at the tiny figure with gratitude. Many golden-winged rock in the surroundings also saw this scene. In their hearts, the human Du Xiaofu had risked his life to save the golden-winged rock. Their eyes were all filled with shock. However, at a time like this, not many golden-winged rock had the time to think. The berserk golden crow heaven-burning lightning swept down once again, and a tyrannical and destructive aura filled the entire space. Just by feeling the scorching and destructive aura of the tyrannical and destructive aura, one's heart would tremble in fear. The golden-winged rock. Golden Crow Jiao. Jialo Jueyu's voice rang out as golden light erupted. At this moment, he had actually activated his true bones. The sound of the Tao reverberated in the air, contending with the sound of thunder. Boundless golden light shot out, protecting many of the golden-winged rocks whose cultivation bases were not high enough. Do I even need to say this? Du Xiaofu muttered. He looked at Jiao Juyan's gigantic body in the sky. He seemed to be much stronger than before he entered the secret area. At this moment, he was also the golden-winged rock with the strongest resistance to the golden crow-burning sky thunder. However, even though Jiao Juyan had activated his true bones, he still seemed to be in a difficult situation while protecting the other golden-winged rock. Then, looking at the golden crow-burning sky thunder that covered the sky and earth, Du Xiaofu frowned. He asked Jiao Juyan, "The golden-winged rock has broken free of the seal. Do we have to leave now?" Jiao Juyan's Ro Juyan looked at Du Xiaofu and said, "The golden crow-burning sky thunder has already destroyed the seal. We are also trapped by the golden crow-burning sky thunder. I'm afraid we won't be able to escape." What? Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows and probed with his mind. Under the scorching aura of destruction, his primordial spirit, which had fused with 2 bolts of spiritual thunder, was also greatly affected. In the end, it was not difficult to feel that the surroundings were already surrounded by the golden crow heaven-burning thunder. It would be really difficult to get out. This is bad. Du Xiaofu's expression became dignified as he waved his hand, directly withstanding a bolt of golden lightning that shot down from above his head. He continued to refine his divine body with the body transformation method as he asked Jialo Jueyu, "The golden crow heaven-burning thunder has broken free from the seal. The elders of the family should know about this, right?" The golden crow heaven-burning lightning had broken free from the seal. Du Xiaofu thought that as long as the elders of the golden-winged great rocks knew about it, they would immediately enter this space to bring everyone out of this dangerous situation. No matter how difficult it was to deal with the golden crow-burning sky lightning, it was only at the initial domain level. The elders of the great golden-winged rock clan were extraordinary. It was naturally impossible for them to deal with the golden crow-burning sky lightning. This, Jialo Jueyu's huge golden eyes were solemn as he looked down at Du Xiaofu. A bitter smile appeared on his face as he said, "The elders should have discovered the commotion inside. However, as far as I know, it is impossible for the elders to enter at this moment. There are restrictions inside that were set up by the ancestors of my clan. Cultivators above the domain realm are simply unable to enter. Even if they destroy this palace, it will be useless. Once the palace is destroyed, the entire space here will collapse and be sealed for 100 years. Damn, When Du Xiaofu heard this, he was stunned for a moment. Then he shouted and waved his hand to resist the golden lightning bolts that fell down around him. He was no longer in the mood to refine his divine body. He asked Jialo Jueyu seriously, "You mean, we can't leave now and can only fend for ourselves?" "That's more or less what I mean." Jialo Jueyu had been protecting many of the great golden-winged rocks that were not strong enough. Cracks began to appear on his feathers and golden blood began to seep out. He continued to smile bitterly at Du Xiaofu. "Unless we can find a way to escape on our own, we can only fend for ourselves." Ao ao. Suddenly, a dragon's roar rang out. Xiaolong's huge body was also helping to protect two great golden-winged rocks that were not strong enough. His abnormal physical body was also beginning to feel strained. He immediately activated the black tortoise divine shell. A black light surged out and resisted the golden crow burning sky lightning. There are a few who are not weak. There is also a human. His primordial spirit is so strange. Why does he have such an aura? Strange. That domineering voice came from the sky, and there was some doubt in it. However, that domineering voice rumbled once again, and it shook people's souls like a heavenly drum. "Unfortunately, all of you overestimated yourselves. Do you think you can stop me with just a few inexperienced juniors? How laughable!" Whoosh! As the voice that shook people's souls fell, the golden lightning in the sky surged and suddenly shrank. As the golden lightning lingered, even more violent and scorching bolts of golden lightning shot out from the dazzling golden lightning arcs like giant pythons. They tore through space, bringing with them terrifying sonic booms as they fiercely fell again. Poopy Gigi! In an instant, many of the great golden-winged rocks cried out. Many of them were in an incomparably miserable state, their feathers standing on end. A few of the great golden-winged rocks were already on the verge of death. They could no longer resist the destructive golden crow-burning sky lightning. Jialo Jueyo and Jialo Juekong's huge bodies were also injured. They spat out large mouthfuls of rock's blood. Even Jialo Jueyu's mouth was overflowing with blood. Even after activating his true bones, he could no longer resist the destructive golden crow-burning sky lightning. "So painful," little Xingxing cursed. After suffering the power of the golden lightning, the light on his body dimmed a lot. However, more than half of the power of the lightning was quietly absorbed by the mysterious runes on the black tortoise divine shell. However, under the golden lightning, little Xingxing's entire body was in extreme pain. Some of his exposed dragon scales were cracked. This was caused by protecting the other two great golden-winged rocks. "We can't continue like this. We have to think of a way to escape. Otherwise, even little Xingxing will be in danger." Du Xiaofu's mind raced. The situation was getting worse and worse. Even if he endured it, little Xingxing would be in danger. Moreover, Du Xiaofu could not really watch this large group of great golden-winged rocks suffer a great calamity. Even if it was for the sake of his god-grandmother, he could not just watch them die. Bang, bang, bang. In a short moment, under the violent and scorching golden crow-burning sky lightning, many great golden-winged rocks were once again heavily injured. Their feathers flew and blood splattered in the air. Jialo Jueyu was injured once again. Cries reverberated in the thunder. Despair was already in the eyes of many great golden-winged rocks. "All great golden-winged rocks, withdraw your true forms and approach me. If you want to live, if you want to have a chance at survival, hurry up." Du Xiaofu shouted. The great golden-winged rocks on his back spread. Golden light surged. At this moment, the aura of a nirvana martial saint swept out. Relying on his physical body, the lightning martial vein in his body, and the power of his origin spirit, Du Xiaofu stood proudly in this golden lightning space. He naturally had a domineering aura that was different from the others. Hearing this, the surrounding great golden-winged rocks all looked at Du Xiaofu. When they heard Du Xiaofu's words, the group of great golden-winged rocks seemed to have some doubts. Their true forms were the strongest state of their physical bodies and strength. Now that they had withdrawn their true forms, especially in such a dangerous situation, they could not help but be suspicious and hesitate. "Father, have you thought of a way?" When little Xingxing heard this, He immediately withdrew his true form without hesitation. However, he still activated the black tortoise divine shell on his body. His small body directly protected the black tortoise divine shell. It was extremely comical but very practical. The violent and destructive golden crow burning sky lightning seemed to be completely useless against little Xingxing's black tortoise divine shell. If you try, you might have a chance. If you don't try, you won't have any chance, Du Xiaofu said to little Xingxing. Chapter 1371. Everyone listen to Du Xiaofu quick. In the sky, Jialo Jueyu's golden eyes pondered for a moment before he immediately retracted his great golden-winged prong body and rushed to Du Xiaofu's side. Swoosh swoosh, the surrounding great golden-winged pangs no longer hesitated when they saw that Jialo Jueyu had already retracted his body. Even though they were still doubtful, they still hurriedly retracted their bodies, using all their strength to resist the golden crow sky-burning lightning as they swiftly approached Du Xiaofu's side. Rumble, the great golden-winged peng wings on Du Xiaofu's back expanded several dozen feet. Endless golden light surged out, resisting the golden crow sky-burning lightning and protecting the many great golden-winged peng clan disciples. Is it a human or a great golden-winged peng? Why is the Yuan spirit aura so strange, like... The domineering voice sounded in the sky with some confusion. Even the endless stream of golden lightning paused for a moment. Little Xingxing, can your divine black tortoise shell withstand it for a while longer? You just need to help protect us up there. Du Xiaofu asked little Xingxing as he looked at the brightest arc of lightning in the sky. His expression was extremely grave. I'll give it a try with all my strength. It won't be easy for this golden crow sky-burning lightning to deal with my divine black tortoise shell. Little Xingxing nodded. He formed a hand seal and the black tortoise divine shell on his body immediately expanded, turning into 100 feet in size. A glaring ink-black symbol light surged out. Suddenly, there seemed to be an illusionary beast roaring out like a dragon. The ink-black runes were dazzling to the eye. This illusory beast was faintly covered in scales and was completely black in color. The turtle and snake intersected as if they were alive. An enormous pressure spread out, causing the surrounding space to distort. Spatial ripples spread out in all directions, causing the surrounding space to tremble. Humph, you're courting death. As if sensing the aura erupting from little Xingxing's divine black tortoise shell, the domineering voice in the sky once again descended. The golden lightning that had paused for a moment earlier once again destroyed space, mainly sweeping towards Du Xiaofu, little Xingxing, and the rest. Follow behind me! Little Xingxing cried out. At this moment, there was a supreme aura within her small body, causing the surrounding golden-winged great rocks to reveal shocked gazes. Boom! Suddenly, little Xingxing raised the black tortoise's divine shell and soared into the sky, protecting the surrounding golden-winged great rocks under the divine shell. At that moment, around the black tortoise divine shell, there was a terrifying energy coming from all directions. Waves of strange energy started to gather. The terrifying energy emitted from the shell caused spatial cracks to appear in the surrounding space, resisting the golden crow heaven-burning lightning. Although everyone was surprised as to why Du Xiaofu chose to advance instead of retreat, there was no other way out. They could only follow little Xingxing and soar into the sky. Rumble! Bolts of purple-gold lightning tore through space like giant golden pythons. They were accompanied by a terrifying destructive force as they ruthlessly struck little Xingxing's black tortoise divine shell. He used his own strength to protect everyone. At this moment, the inky black light on the black tortoise's divine shell dimmed under the golden lightning. Little Star, who was supporting the black tortoise's divine shell, was instantly swept away by a huge force. Ugh! Little Xingxing vomited a huge mouthful of blood after being struck by such a lightning force. Little Xingxing, let me do it. The power of the golden crow heaven-burning lightning had exceeded Du Xiaofu's expectations. He immediately called out to little Xingxing. Father, I'm fine. Think of a way to get us out. Little Xingxing cried out. He ignored the blood at the corner of his mouth and spat out another mouthful of blood onto the black tortoise's divine shell. Oh! The blood was completely absorbed by the black tortoise's divine shell. The inky black light became resplendent once again. The roar of a dragon rang out, resisting the golden crow heaven-burning lightning. Little Xingxing's body shot into the sky like lightning, bringing everyone into the sky. The group of golden-winged great rocks had complicated gazes as they watched the scene before them. They were extremely emotional. They had never thought that they would have to rely on a human and a dragon to escape in such a situation. At this moment, the human and dragon were still doing their best to protect them. They did not abandon them, who had once ostracized them. Rumble, high up in the sky, another wave of destructive golden lightning descended. It fell onto Little Xingxing's black tortoise's divine shell like a storm. Under the continuous bombardment of lightning, Little Xingxing's divine shell, which was protecting everyone, dimmed once again. It was engulfed by the resplendent golden lightning. Little Xingxing's small body trembled. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, but his bewitching eyes were abnormally determined. "Father, we're here. I can't hold on any longer. This golden crow heaven-burning lightning is too powerful." Little Xingxing cried out. After being bombarded by the golden crow heaven-burning lightning, his aura began to wither. The black tortoise's divine shell became dimmer and dimmer, as if it could no longer hold on. Then, the black tortoise's divine shell that Little Xingxing held up turned into an inky black talisman pattern that enveloped Little Xingxing. Although the talisman pattern formed by the black tortoise's divine shell dimmed, an inky black light spread out from it once again. It automatically protected Little Xingxing's small body. Crackle, high up in the sky, a large swathe of golden lightning descended violently again, destroying space. Without the protection of Little Xingxing's black tortoise's divine shell, the golden lightning immediately swept over everyone's heads. Not good. Under that vast and domineering destructive aura, it made one's hair stand on end and their beast souls tremble. Rumble. In that split second, a purple lightning burst out from the void and instantly covered the surrounding sky. The vast aura instantly caused space to tremble violently, causing the bright golden lightning to be diluted a little. Suddenly, Du Xiaofu's body leaped out. His eyes, which were originally overflowing with golden light, began to emit purple lightning arcs. His entire body was covered with a purple-gold lightning talisman pattern. Du Xiaofu activated his thunder martial vein. With his body as the center, purple lightning immediately spread out. In an instant, a purple-silver snake flashed in the void. A murderous aura descended. It didn't carry any killing intent, but it displayed the majesty of creation and the righteousness of heaven and earth. The purple lightning was extremely strong and young. It could sweep through the heavens and punish all living things. Compared to it, the golden crow heaven incinerating lightning, which was the most domineering, scorching, and destructive, also faintly trembled. It's really a human. What kind of martial vein is this? High up in the sky, a surprised and domineering voice resounded. The golden lightning fluctuated as if it was shocked. "Everyone come close to me." Without any delay, Du Xiaofu shouted loudly. Then, the golden talisman pattern on his body flashed out and gathered into the five-finger mountain peak. Activating the martial vein spirit, a golden light suddenly appeared. Du Xiaofu's figure was immediately wrapped under the martial vein spirit. At this moment, in this dangerous place, trapped in this strange space, Du Xiaofu felt the existence of the seal in the sky with the strength of his primordial spirit. Du Xiaofu guessed that as long as he relied on the five-finger mountain peak's martial vein spirit to escape, he should be able to escape. As long as he could escape, there was no need to worry about the golden crow sky-burning thunder outside with the experts of the golden-winged Great Rock clan. Boom! In a short moment, golden light erupted. The five-finger mountain peak's martial vein spirit that enveloped Du Xiaofu's body also instantly expanded and evolved. As if it had been given life, dense spiritual energy spread out and immediately enveloped the surrounding stars, Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, and the others. The five-finger mountain peak's martial vein spirit communicated with the energy of heaven and earth. The pressure was rolling like a long rainbow. The golden talisman pattern that filled the sky was released as if it could crush and suppress all things in the world. Spatial ripples appeared and the seal was triggered. It seemed that it was about to take the opportunity to escape. What a strange martial vein, what a strange martial vein spirit. Kid, you can't escape. Stay here. The domineering, thunderous roar suddenly sounded. In the bright golden lightning arc high up in the sky, there was a scorching and terrifying temperature fluctuation. The golden lightning was like a water surface that had a bomb thrown into it, causing violent ripples of destruction to appear. Boom! A bomb-like sound of thunder came out, and a bright golden lightning burst out from above. Looking carefully, it was actually an incomparably huge three-legged giant bird that was born. The three-legged giant bird was shaped like a crane, with 3 feet under its abdomen. Its entire body was golden and dazzling, like the flowing magma of the sun, and the surrounding electric arcs were overflowing. The three-legged giant bird screamed, and the sound wave tore through the space. With the earth-shattering golden lightning, it suddenly swept fiercely onto the 5-Finger Mountain Peak's martial vein spirit that Du Xiaofu was about to escape. Chi-La! The 3 sharp claws were like heavenly blades, tightly clasping onto the golden 5-Finger Mountain Peak's martial vein spirit. Chi-La-La! Suddenly, Du Xiaofu's golden 5-Finger Mountain Peak's martial vein spirit trembled violently under that terrifying force. Small cracks suddenly appeared on the martial vein spirit, and the cracks immediately climbed up the entire golden mountain peak's martial vein spirit, and it was about to shatter completely. Pucci! At this moment, Du Xiaofu spat out a large mouthful of blood, and his face instantly turned pale. Such a vast force was definitely not something he could withstand right now. You guys go first, I'll cover you. At the critical moment, Du Xiaofu shouted loudly, and a hint of sharpness and decisiveness surged in his eyes. His entire body surged with resplendent purple lightning, and his killing intent swept out, revealing the majesty of creation, and his aura was extremely masculine and young. In the next moment, Du Xiaofu's figure rushed out from the golden 5-Finger Mountain Peak's martial vein spirit that was about to crack, and a lightning palm print slapped towards the huge 3-legged giant bird with all his might. The resplendent purple lightning that blotted out the sky and covered the earth shot out from the palm print, instantly colliding with the golden lightning 3-legged giant bird's body. Rumble! This collision caused the surrounding space to explode. The purple and golden arcs of lightning were like the most gorgeous fireworks that spread out. Under that kind of brilliance, any trace of brilliance was destroyed. Chi-La-La! Du Xiaofu used all his strength to activate the thunder martial vein. At this moment, he also forcefully shook the huge body of the resplendent golden lightning 3-legged giant bird away from the martial vein spirit. Chapter 1372. However, at this moment, Du Xiaofu was bleeding pale golden blood from his mouth. His body was knocked back from the void, his hair dancing wildly and stained with blood. He was in a sorry state. However, this was enough. Du Xiaofu's 5-fingered golden mountain vein spirit had already disappeared from this space along with little Xingxing, Jialo Jueyu, and all the younger generation of the great golden-winged rock clan. Bastard. Seeing the golden mountain vein spirit disappear from this space, the golden lightning 3-legged giant bird suddenly screeched. It flapped its wings and an invisible wave spread out. Whoosh! With Du Xiaofu as the center, the surrounding space was suddenly filled with strange bright golden lightning, enveloping Du Xiaofu completely. What a strange martial vein. It has a lot to do with lightning. A puny human actually has a spiritual lightning soul seed. The heavens are really helping me. I don't need those great golden winged rocks anymore. The heavens are helping me. Heavenly lightning apocalypse. The 3-legged giant bird of dazzling golden lightning screeched. Golden lightning shot out endlessly from the void and swept across the sky. In the blink of an eye, it enveloped the entire space, as if covering the vast and boundless space. Rumble, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Bright golden lightning poured down from the void, like a waterfall hanging from the 9 heavens, connecting the top and bottom of the void. The blazing and domineering destructive power was at its peak, causing the surrounding void to boil like a stormy sea. A destructive power quietly erupted and spread out. The entire space began to tremble. From high up in the sky, it seemed as if the space was beginning to collapse. The entire space was on the verge of collapse. Not good. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's eyes were serious, and his expression changed drastically. Rumble. In the square outside the great golden-winged rock hall, Jialo Changtian, the great elder, Jialo Kaling, the great guardian, and other experts of the great golden-winged rock clan looked at the huge hall in front of them that was on the verge of collapse and listened to the soul-shaking thunder. At this moment, there was nothing they could do. The commotion inside is getting louder and louder. I'm afraid they're already dead, the great guardian, Jialo Huanyu, said solemnly. Patriarch, there seems to be something wrong inside. What if the evil lightning escapes? Fourth Elder Jialo Ye's expression was as grave as First Guardian Jialo Huanyu's. Both of them felt that the commotion in the hall was somewhat special. We absolutely can't let that evil lightning leave this place. Once it leaves this place, given its talent and characteristics, it will bring a catastrophe to our clan. Jialo Changtian said to Fourth Elder Jialo Yi. Patriarch, if Jialo Jueyu and the others are already dead, and evil thunder is still escaping, shouldn't we prepare in advance? Fifth Elder Jialo Yuantu clenched his teeth. At this moment, he didn't want anything bad to happen to Jialo Jueyu and the other young people, but if the worst came to worst, he could only make preparations in advance. Wait a little longer. Don't take the next step until the very last moment. Maybe a miracle will happen and they will be able to find a way to escape. Jialo Changtian stood with his hands clasped behind his back. Golden light gushed out from his eyes. At this moment, his expression was solemn, but his temperament was still as arrogant as ever. Rumble. Suddenly, just as Jialo Changtian's voice fell, the huge hall of the golden-winged rock clan began to shake, and then it began to crack. Crack, crack. A slight cracking sound came from the void, and in an instant, the cracks climbed up the entire hall. Oh no, it seems that evil thunder is destroying the hall by itself. At this moment, the experts of the golden-winged rock clan in front of the hall were all shocked. Once the hall was destroyed, the space would collapse, and the entire space would be sealed for 100 years. Then, all the young golden-winged rock clan who entered this time would really be doomed, and they would not be able to come out alive. At this moment, everyone present were experts from the golden-winged great rocks, so it was naturally not difficult for them to discern that at this moment, it was the golden crow heaven incinerating lightning that was taking the initiative to destroy the entire hall. This caused everyone to be puzzled. The younger generation has been completely annihilated, and all of them have been killed. Is this a great disaster for our clan? On the great elder's old face, his eyes were calm, his expression was sighing, and his heart was filled with grief. Is this the tribulation of our clan? Everyone's eyes were filled with grief. The younger generation had all suffered a calamity, and they were all annihilated. They were all disciples of their clan, their blood relatives. Even if everyone present was an expert of the golden-winged rock clan, they could not help but feel grief in their hearts. Could it be that there really isn't a miracle? Jialo Changtan stood with his hands behind his back, and within his long sleeves, his fists were clenched tightly. The younger generation had all suffered a calamity, and this was a huge blow to the entire golden-winged rock clan. Swish! Suddenly, above the cracked golden-winged rock-shaped hall in front of him, spatial ripples rippled, and resplendent golden runes surged out. In the next moment, under the astonished gazes of everyone, a golden five-fingered mountain peak flashed out like a real lightning bolt, and one could faintly see figures wrapped within it. Rumble. At the same time, the huge hall also completely cracked, and began to collapse amidst the rumbling thunder and lightning. Swish! From high above the sky, a large number of resplendent golden thunderbolts surged out, and directly swept towards the golden five-fingered mountain peak. They've come out. Everyone retreat quickly. If the hall is destroyed, this space will collapse, and everything will be sealed for 100 years. When Jialo Changtian's voice resounded in the void, his figure had already appeared behind the golden five-fingered mountain peak. His long robe fluttered in the wind, and from the void around Jialo Changtian, a resplendent golden rune surged out, converging into a handprint, like a pair of wings that shook the sky and directly swept out. Swish! Jialo Chungqian's handprint swept out, and wherever it passed, everything in the space was annihilated, and the resplendent golden thunderbolts that were chasing after the golden five-fingered mountain peak disappeared into the void in an instant. Let's go! At the same time, Jialo Changtian waved his hand, and a golden light wrapped around the golden five-fingered mountain peak. The golden light energy twisted the void, and the resplendent golden light climbed up the huge golden five-fingered mountain peak's shadow, and immediately disappeared from this space along with the golden five-fingered mountain peak's shadow. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. One by one, the figures also rushed into the sky, and immediately disappeared from this space in a hurry. Rumble. As the figures of the crowd disappeared, the vast space around began to collapse strangely. A large number of resplendent golden thunderbolts, like a sea of thunderbolts, like a golden python, violently roaring and wildly overflowing. At this moment, in this collapsed void, resplendent golden runes suddenly spread out from the collapsed space. These golden runes seemed to carry a force from ancient times, covering the sky and the earth, and finally, above the collapsed void, converging into a huge golden-winged rock shadow. Screech! The golden-winged rock shadow screeched, and an overbearing force from ancient times descended, with a supreme force, as if penetrating through the ancient times, and finally penetrating the space, and then began to distort it, and then everything began to disappear. Swish, swish. In the mountains of the golden-winged rock clan, figures broke out from the void and landed in an ancient square. Rumble. Above the mountains, the space in front of them suddenly seemed to be torn apart, and a large number of golden thunderbolts swept out, as if a huge golden space hole had appeared in the sky, and the sound of thunder resounded endlessly from it, making people tremble in fear. Chila, golden light spread out, and a large number of golden figures rushed out, faintly shrouded in what seemed to be a golden five-fingered mountain peak shadow. However, at this moment, the illusory figure of the golden five-finger mountain range spirit was strangely gradually disappearing. Figures completely revealed themselves, and each of them was still in shock, and had not yet recovered from the shock. They were Jialo Juiyu, Jialo Juekong, and all the younger generations of the golden-winged rock clan. Jialo Changqian's figure was the last to appear in the space, wearing a golden robe with the golden-winged rock pattern like a living creature, and the aura on his body was releasing a kind of ethereal aura at this moment. Chi-la-la, the huge golden space hole gradually disappeared, and no more golden lightning overflowed, and the blazing destructive energy completely disappeared. Phew! Seeing Jialo Juiyu and the others come out, the experts of the golden-winged rock clan who were present suddenly let out a long sigh of relief in their hearts. If all the younger generation suffered such a disaster this time, then even the golden-winged rock clan would absolutely not be able to withstand such a blow. The main hall was destroyed, and the space was sealed for 100 years. What does that evil thunder want to do? The great elder looked at the sky in front, and his old face looked puzzled. He did not know why the golden crow-burning sky thunder wanted to destroy the main hall by itself. At this moment, the space collapsed and was sealed for 100 years, which was equivalent to the golden crow-burning sky thunder directly locking itself up for another 100 years. For the golden crow-burning sky thunder, 100 years of darkness was enough to make it weaker and weaker. "Father," a young voice shouted, and a small body rushed out. At this time, the ink-black talisman on little Xingxing's body seemed to be no longer threatened, and quietly disappeared into little Xingxing's body. "Hey, I don't see that guy." Jialo Kaling raised her eyes and looked at the golden mountain phantom that had appeared before. That was Du Xiaofu's vain spirit, and Jialo Kaling thought that Du Xiaofu was also there. At this moment, Jialo Kaling realized that although some of the people who had come out were seriously injured, some were riddled with scars, and some were covered in blood, all of them had come out. Only Du Xiaofu was nowhere to be seen. "Why don't I see Du Xiaofu?" The experts present were like Jialo Kaling. When they saw the golden five-fingered vain spirit in a hurry, they thought that Du Xiaofu was naturally there. Chapter 1373. At this moment, everyone saw that at least everyone had come out alive, but Du Xiaofu was nowhere to be seen. Open the space for me, my father is still trapped inside. Open the space for me, quick. Looking at the merged space, little Xingxing shouted at Jialo Changtian and the other experts anxiously. Child, the space inside has collapsed and is sealed again. I'm afraid no one will be able to open the seal within 100 years. Jialo Changtian looked at little Xingxing and said, No, my father is still trapped inside. I have to find my father. Little Xingxing shouted, golden flames surging in her bewitching eyes. Her blood seemed to have attacked her heart, and she spurted out another mouthful of blood from her pale little mouth. Following another mouthful of blood, the golden flames in little Xingxing's bewitching eyes strangely faded and her little body's aura became weaker and weaker. I have to find my father. Little Xingxing's voice became softer and softer. Her little body could no longer support herself. Originally, little Xingxing was relying on her own strength and the black tortoise divine shell to protect everyone. Little Xingxing was already forcefully resisting and suffered heavy injuries. At this moment, little Xingxing was anxious and her blood was attacking her heart. She could no longer support herself and fainted. Jialo Changtian immediately held little Xingxing in his arms and waved his hand at Jialo Juiyu and the others. He asked, What happened inside? In order to protect us, Du Xiaofu chose to face the golden crow-burning sky lightning alone. If it weren't for him and little Xingxing risking their lives to protect us, I'm afraid none of us would be able to escape today. Jialo Juiyu's eyes surged with golden light as she looked at the merged space. She bit her lips with a complicated expression on her face. Hearing this, all the experts of the golden-winged Great Prengbird clan trembled and their hearts trembled. Rumble. In the vast space, the golden lightning was dazzling. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was surrounded by a boundless sea of golden lightning, filled with dazzling golden lightning arcs. Standing in the middle of the golden sea of lightning, the rumbling sound of thunder resounded all around. A scorching aura of destruction constantly spread out from it, causing one's hair to stand on end. Standing in the middle of it, one's figure seemed exceptionally small. However, at this moment, Du Xiaofu was different. Both of his eyes were suffused with purple lightning, and his entire body was covered with purple-gold lightning talisman runes. With his body as the center, waves of purple lightning emerged from the void, and purple-silver snakes flickered in the surrounding void. Du Xiaofu's pupils constricted as he stared at the enormous three-legged golden lightning bird in the sea of golden lightning before him. A murderous aura spread out from his body. It was as if he was the sovereign of lightning, causing the golden lightning in the surroundings to not dare to approach and to submit to him. Pucci. Suddenly, Du Xiaofu spat out another mouthful of pale golden blood. Oh no! Du Xiaofu frowned, and a solemn expression flashed through his eyes without leaving a trace. The vain soul had protected little Xingxing and the others out of the hall, but the vain soul had still suffered great damage and dissipated in the end. The vain soul had been heavily injured, and the body had been injured instead. This kind of injury was not ordinary. What a strange martial vein. The three-legged bird formed by the golden lightning locked its huge eyes on Du Xiaofu and trembled slightly. Looking at the silver lightning arcs around Du Xiaofu's body and feeling the aura on Du Xiaofu's body, the three-legged golden lightning bird's eyes gradually revealed a kind of madness and greed. The three-legged golden lightning bird's fierce eyes continued to carefully size up Du Xiaofu, as if it was still searching for something. It muttered softly, You seem to have spiritual thunder on your body. I can feel that there must be other spiritual thunders. Golden crow sky burning thunder, how about we mind our own business? If you want to escape, why do you have to deal with me? It's a strenuous and unrewarding task. Isn't it better to save some energy to escape? Du Xiaofu's eyes turned, and he frowned slightly as he looked at the three-legged bird and said, Ha! The three-legged golden lightning bird laughed, and its wings flapped as it laughed, bringing with it a golden lightning storm. It caused the surrounding golden lightning to rise and fall like a stormy sea, causing people to be inexplicably shocked. Retracting its smile, the three-legged bird's fierce eyes looked down at Du Xiaofu and said with madness and greed, Kid, I've changed my mind. I don't plan to escape now and let those young golden-winged great rocks escape. Without a bargaining chip, it won't be easy to leave the golden-winged great rocks clan. Fortunately, the heavens are on my side. You are much better than those young golden-winged great rocks. The martial vein in your body is very strange, but it's a pity that your cultivation is not enough. In addition, you should also have spiritual thunder on your body. If I devour you, the benefits will be huge. At that time, it will definitely be difficult for the golden-winged great rocks to trap me again. The heavens are really on my side. You want to refine me? Du Xiaofu frowned. So this golden crow-burning sky thunder wanted to keep him here. It turned out that it was the same as the earth-collapsing sky thunder in the Hehuan school. It wanted to refine him to obtain benefits. Of course, you can't escape anymore. The space outside has already collapsed. As far as I know, the surrounding space has been sealed and will only disappear after 100 years. No matter how strong the people outside are, they won't be able to enter. And after 100 years, those old fellows in the golden-winged Great Rocks clan think they can suppress me, but they don't know that after I refine you, they won't be able to suppress me so easily. At that time, I will definitely let them know how powerful I am. The three-legged bird cried out loudly. A bright and destructive golden lightning energy burst out from its huge body, as if it was filled with resentment. Hearing this, Du Xiaofu's expression became extremely serious. He originally thought that obtaining benefits from the competition of the golden-winged Great Rocks clan was a great thing, like a pie falling from the sky. Who would have thought that in the end, he would once again be brought to this extremely dangerous place? It seemed that this golden crow-burning sky thunder would definitely not let him go. His pulse spirit had been heavily injured. Even if he had the chance to escape with his pulse spirit, he couldn't even activate it at this moment. Moreover, under the control of the golden crow-burning sky thunder, Du Xiaofu also knew that it would be difficult for him to escape easily. You're saying that this space has already collapsed and the people outside can't enter at all? Suddenly, Du Xiaofu looked at the three-legged golden thunderbird with a serious expression and asked. TSK, of course. No one can enter. 100 years is enough for me to refine you and advance a step further. More importantly, no one will be able to trap me at that time. The heavens are helping me. The three-legged golden thunderbird laughed coldly. Everything was going according to its plan. It didn't expect to have such a harvest this time. It was really being helped by the heavens. Is that so? If you want to refine me, I'm afraid you're still a little lacking. Du Xiaofu's originally serious expression suddenly relaxed at this moment. He smiled and activated the lightning martial vein in his body. From the surface of his body, purple lightning immediately spread out. It was extremely strong and young. Its aura was vast and mighty, as if it could punish the common people. The three-legged bird's fierce eyes locked onto Du Xiaofu's body. Feeling the aura, its gaze became increasingly greedy. It laughed disdainfully and said, "Insignificant human, then die." As its cold laughter faded, the three-legged bird flapped its wings. In this space, huge golden lightning bolts swept towards Du Xiaofu ruthlessly. Bright golden lightning bolts streaked across the space. Wherever they passed, the space was destroyed and turned into void. In an instant, they arrived in front of Du Xiaofu. Fuck, do you really think I'm easy to deal with? At this moment, Du Xiaofu was also angry. As his voice faded, a purple gold streamer rushed out from his palm like lightning. In an instant, it turned into a huge three-legged cauldron on his palm. The mouth of the cauldron was facing the front. Boom! At this moment, the golden lightning space suddenly trembled violently. A vast purple-gold thundercloud gathered out of thin air and occupied the sky. Its aura was destructive. Rumble! Then, a rumbling explosion spread in the space. A large area of purple lightning raged, as if there were countless bombs exploding in the void of the underground pit. The purple lightning and Du Xiaofu's lightning martial vein were the same. Their auras were the supreme of the lightning. At this moment, the pressure that spread out from the purple lightning was not something that ordinary spiritual lightning could compare with. At this moment, the golden crow sky burning thunder was also affected. Everything happened in a flash. In Du Xiaofu's palm, the three-legged cauldron's mouth surged with purple lightning. In an instant, it turned into a huge purple lightning vortex. It directly swallowed the large area of golden lightning that was rushing towards Du Xiaofu. The golden lightning was very domineering and powerful. Its aura was extremely hot and destructive. However, at this moment, the purple lightning vortex in front of the three-legged cauldron in Du Xiaofu's palm was directly swallowed and absorbed. What is that? At this moment, the three-legged bird also felt something. Its fierce eyes were filled with shock. It stared at the three-legged cauldron in Du Xiaofu's palm. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was activating the purple lightning profound cauldron. Treasure, it must be a treasure. It's also a lightning treasure. The heavens have treated me well. In just a short while, the three-legged golden lightning bird's shocked gaze was filled with passion and greed again. It could feel that the three-legged cauldron was extraordinary. If it fell into its hands, it would be like a tiger that had grown wings. You deal with it slowly. I'm going to rest for a while. Du Xiaofu looked at the three-legged bird and smiled faintly. He knew that even if he had the purple lightning profound cauldron in his hand, he did not have much strength to deal with the golden crow sky burning thunder. Moreover, he did not know if the purple lightning profound cauldron could deal with the golden crow sky burning thunder. After all, the golden crow sky burning thunder was already at the domain realm. However, Du Xiaofu was confident that if he hid in the purple lightning profound cauldron, the golden crow sky burning thunder would definitely not be able to do anything to him. Since no one could enter this space, he was not afraid of exposing the purple lightning profound cauldron. Now that he was seriously injured, he needed time to recover. Du Xiaofu did not want to be entangled with the golden crow sky burning thunder at this moment. As soon as Du Xiaofu finished speaking, the purple lightning profound cauldron rotated and hovered in the void. Then, Du Xiaofu entered the purple lightning profound cauldron and disappeared. The golden lightning profound cauldron was dumbfounded and it couldn't recover from its shock for a while. Chapter 1374. Do you think you will be fine if you hide inside? What a joke! The golden lightning three-legged bird screeched, its eyes filled with disdain. As it flapped its wings, it opened its sharp beak and a golden lightning gathered and spat out. With an even more frightening pressure, it ruthlessly smashed towards Du Xiaofu's purple lightning profound cauldron. Sizzle! The purple lightning profound cauldron spun and immediately turned upside down. An even more resplendent and destructive purple lightning erupted from the large cauldron. Crash! In an instant, the two bolts of lightning collided. The lightning energy was like a resplendent purple-gold firework shooting into the sky. However, such a collision did not cause too much of a sonic boom. Soon after, a purple lightning vortex surged out from under the purple lightning profound cauldron. It was like a ferocious monstrous lightning beast had opened its lightning mouth and directly swallowed a large amount of the golden crow sky burning lightning. How can this be? The three-legged golden lightning bird was shocked. It seemed to have sensed something as anger flashed across its fierce eyes. After which, it once again activated the resplendent and tyrannical destructive golden lightning. Golden lightning runes that filled the sky rippled in this lightning space, as if they had transformed into a resplendent golden lightning wave that swept towards the purple lightning profound cauldron from all directions with a momentum that could topple mountains and overturn seas. Rumble! The purple-gold lightning wreaked havoc. A strange purple thundercloud occupied this golden lightning space. The purple lightning profound cauldron spun. The purple-gold lightning vortex below was like a terrifying purple-gold black hole, swallowing and spitting out a huge suction force. It directly pulled the golden crow sky-burning lightning that could topple mountains and overturn seas into the cauldron in an endless stream. Sizzle! At this moment, the surrounding scorching and destructive golden crow sky-burning lightning seemed to have been pulled by some invisible force and uncontrollably rushed towards the purple lightning profound cauldron. The moment the scorching and destructive golden crow sky-burning lightning came into contact with the mouth of the purple-gold lightning vortex, it immediately disappeared into the purple lightning profound cauldron and disappeared. Rumble! The purple lightning profound cauldron swallowed the golden crow sky burning lightning, causing the golden lightning space to continuously tremble. Thunder roared like a tide. It was deafening, but no one could hear it at this moment. The countless heart-palpitating golden lightning wildly danced and swept towards the purple lightning profound cauldron from all directions. Sizzle. At this moment, the purple lightning profound cauldron was pulling the golden crow sky burning, swallowing the golden crow sky burning lightning. How can this be? This change made the giant bird's eyes filled with shock. It found that it had no control over its own body, and the three-legged cauldron was continuously devouring its energy. It couldn't even stop it at this moment. You damn it you! God, the giant three-legged bird was furious. It was not stupid. It knew that with the human's cultivation level and his current state of injury, even if he urged the lightning treasure to devour its energy, he would not be able to hold on for long. Sooner or later, he would be devoured, and then he would be harmed by the backlash. Rumble. The body of the golden three-legged giant bird moved horizontally, bursting out dazzling golden thunderbolts that blotted out the sky. It was like an eruption of heavenly thunder. The violent and blazing destructive aura of the thunderbolts rose to the extreme, continuously crushing toward the purple lightning profound cauldron. At this moment, the golden crow heaven-burning lightning wanted to use the most tyrannical method to destroy that human. As long as the human suffered a backlash, the lightning treasure would eventually fall into its hands. There was also the spiritual thunder and the special thunder martial vein in the human body. At that time, it would continue to evolve. 100 years later, the powerhouses of the golden-winged great rocks could no longer trap it. Unfortunately, the golden crow burning sky lightning's thoughts were correct. If it was an ordinary treasure, it was likely that it would be sufficient to cause Du Xiaofu to suffer a backlash and be harmed by it. But the purple thunder profound cauldron was absolutely not an ordinary treasure. The violet lightning profound cauldron spun as if it was spreading out. Countless violet gold spirit snakes shuttled through space as a violet gold profound lightning vortex gushed out, and it continued to swallow the blazing and destructive energy of the sun crow heaven incineration lightning into it. Sizzle. The void trembled violently as the violet gold lightning vortex within the violet lightning profound cauldron continued to swallow the blazing and destructive sun crow heaven incineration lightning. Around the violet gold lightning vortex, large amounts of violet gold lightning filled the air, and its aura was as if it could destroy the heavens and the earth. At this moment, no matter how many sun crow heaven incineration lightning surged over, the violet lightning profound cauldron would swallow them all without fail. Back at the Hehuan school, Du Xiaofu had also used the violet lightning profound cauldron to deal with the great earth-shattering lightning. But back then, the violet lightning profound cauldron had been isolated by the great earth-shattering lightning. In addition, Du Xiaofu's cultivation level and strength back then were vastly different from the great earth-shattering lightning. And now, although Du Xiaofu was severely injured, he was still in absolute nirvana martial honorable. The golden crow heaven incineration lightning was only at the initial domain level. Although the initial domain level was definitely not comparable to the honorable realm level, it was a world of difference. But at this moment, in front of a freak like Du Xiaofu, a nirvana martial honorable's cultivation level was not something that could be compared to an ordinary martial honorable of the same level. Therefore, it had closed the gap by quite a bit. At this moment, there was something more important. The golden crow heaven incineration lightning thought that there was no problem with its idea. It poured its vast power into the lightning treasure, wanting to cause the human to explode and devour him instead of continuing to attack the violet lightning profound cauldron. However, the golden crow heaven incineration lightning would never have thought that its method was undoubtedly sending a sheep to the tiger's mouth. The golden crow heaven incineration lightning did not understand the origin of Du Xiaofu's violet lightning profound cauldron. If it had known earlier, it would not have made such a stupid decision even if it was beaten to death. At this moment, Du Xiaofu could not be bothered with the commotion outside for the time being. He had absolute trust in the violet lightning profound cauldron. After entering the violet lightning profound cauldron, the ancient desolate space between his eyebrows flew out. Du Xiaofu also immediately entered the ancient desolate space. Faint golden blood was still flowing out of Du Xiaofu's mouth. After taking a deep breath, he stuffed a large amount of elixirs into his mouth. Let's heal first. After that, Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged and formed a seal with his hands. He circulated the cultivation technique of the golden-winged Great Rock Clan and began to regulate his breathing. In this situation, Du Xiaofu was extremely decisive. No matter what, the most important thing for him now was to recover his injuries and strength. If the violet lightning profound cauldron could not withstand it, he would still have a way out. Walala! After a moment, in the misty ancient desolate space, spatial ripples slightly rippled. A boundless ancient aura filled the air. Du Xiaofu's body was also enveloped in a faint golden energy halo. The late autumn dusk always came especially quickly. As the sun set in the west, the wind in the valley carried a dense chill, driving the surrounding white fog to wander down the mountain. As the sun set, the shadows of the mountains gradually pressed down. The shadows became thicker and thicker, gradually blending into the night. However, it was soon turned into a silver-gray color by the bright moon. In front of the golden-winged Great Rock Clan's mountain, a figure stood quietly. No one left. Everyone's eyes were surging with a complicated expression. Father, quickly think of a way. Du Xiaofu is still inside. With the strength of the clan's elders, can't we break the seal with the combined strength of the clan's elders? Jialo Kaling's delicate face turned pale. Her golden eyes looked solemnly at the calm sky in front of her. She seemed to be in a daze. There's no way. The seal was set up by the ancestors. The great elder and the second elder also participated in it. However, at that time, it was just a precaution. The seal did not leave a way out. It can only dissipate after 100 years. This has nothing to do with strength. There's no way to break it. Jialo Changtian sighed slightly. His eyes were suffused with a golden radiance. He muttered, "It's already been 3 days. Will there really not be any more miracles? This time, our golden-winged Great Rock Clan owes him a favor." On one side of the square, Jialo Jueyu, Jialo Juekong, Jialo Jueyo, Jialo Yuang and the rest of the younger generation stood quietly. This time, they had all escaped from death. These young disciples all had serious injuries on their bodies, and the majority of them were seriously injured. However, in these 3 days, they had only swallowed a lot of spiritual herbs. None of them left. They were all waiting spontaneously. It was as if each and every one of them was looking forward to something deep in their hearts. It was as if they were waiting for a miracle to happen. It's been 3 days. I'm afraid that the hope is already very small. Jialo Jueo looked at the sunset ahead. Another day had passed. The depths of his eyes were the most complicated. Jialo Jueo had never thought that in that life and death situation, that human would risk his life to protect them and put himself in a desperate situation. The golden-winged Great Rock Clan was born to be supreme in the Beast Clan. Their characters were extremely arrogant. However, in the face of the continuous shock of that human, in the end, he did not care about his own safety and sent them out of the desperate situation in the face of life and death. This made these arrogant golden-winged Great Rock Clan's younger generation deeply shocked in their hearts. They were all clear that if it were not for Du Xiaofu's help at the cost of his own life, they would definitely be buried in the golden crow heaven-burning lightning. None of them would be able to escape. If he can come out, I will never find trouble with him again. Even if he wants me to follow him in the future, it's fine. On Jialo Jueyo's pale face, there was a golden light fluctuation in his sharp eyes. Back then, when Jialo Jueo found trouble with Du Xiaofu, it was only because of the superiority in his heart and the pride of the golden-winged Great Rock Clan. In fact, when he was defeated in the end, although Jialo Jueo had some resentment in his heart at the beginning, he later understood that there was always someone better than him. Just like what the second commander Jialo Jueyu had said to him, that defeat was beneficial to him. After that, when Jialo Jueo heard that even Jialo Jueo, who had defeated the second commander Jialo Jueyu, was defeated by Du Xiaofu and even took a step back in the end, allowing Jialo Jueo to escape unscathed, he was already convinced in his heart. However, the pride in the depths of his heart made him unable to step down. But this time, when he saw Du Xiaofu help his clan's disciples and put himself in a desperate situation to protect them and leave, Jialo Jueyo's heart was touched and completely convinced. Chapter 1375. Hearing Jialo Jueyo's words, the disciples of the same generation did not say anything, but their eyes rippled. Jialo Jueyu looked up at the sky, a faint golden light rippling in his eyes. His yellow robes with gold trimmings fluttered slightly, making him look like a flawless jade man. At this moment, even though he was standing there quietly, Jialo Jueyu still looked so beautiful and charming, with a unique charm. However, at this moment, Jialo Jueyu's face was also very pale. The golden light in his eyes slowly faded, turning into calmness. He said to the people around him, "This time, what we all owe Du Xiaofu is not just our lives. Not only am I not as strong as him, but he is also stronger than me." In front of the square, little Xingxing's small body stood, looking forward. His small hand held Zixian's hand, not saying anything, his face pale. "Father will definitely be fine." "Mother, don't you think so?" After a moment, under the afterglow of the setting sun, little Xingxing raised his head slightly and asked Zixian. Zixian lowered her head, her faint purple eyes looking at little Xingxing. Her other hand stroked the hair in front of little Xingxing's forehead. Her red lips parted slightly, and her voice was like a fairy's as she said, "His physical body is different. The golden crow burning sky lightning is only at the initial domain realm. I'm afraid it can't do anything to your father. So, even if father is trapped inside, he will definitely be fine after 100 years, right?" On little Xingxing's pale face, his clear and bright eyes were suffused with a faint golden flame, still as enchanting as before. "I think so. He has a tough life. After so many dangers, he has been fine. This time is nothing," Zixian said softly, looking at little Xingxing with a faint smile. "Then, after 100 years, will father become old? He is a human." Little Xingxing pouted slightly and asked Zixian. He was a little worried. 100 years was nothing to demonic beasts, but to humans, it was quite a big impact. "He has already reached the Nirvana Martial Saint realm. He won't be that old." Zixian raised her eyebrows slightly, then looked up at the sky. There were some ripples in her purple eyes that were so deep that it was difficult to see them. Divine Ape King, Little Ing Ing, Phantom Tiger King, and Ghost Chariot are all by father's side. I hope they will be fine. Little Xingxing softly muttered. His young and tender face was no longer as grave. However, there was no smile on his face either. Chi. The space fluctuated, and a rickety old lady appeared in the square. Her hair was speckled, and she wore a light golden robe. "Greetings, sacred elder." As the old lady appeared, the first elder, second elder, and the other elders and protectors all bowed respectfully. "Greetings, sacred elder." The surrounding golden-winged great rocks, Jialo Yuang, Jialo Juyu, and the others immediately knelt on one knee. "Mother, why are you here?" In front of the old lady, Jialo Changtan also appeared very respectful. "Let me take a look." The old lady nodded at Jialo Changtian and waved her hand to dismiss the elders, protectors, and disciples. Then, she looked at the sky in front of her. Her eyes were calm as she said, "This old lady owes my grandson, owes him." "Grandma," Jialo Kai Ling stepped forward and looked at the old and stooped granny. She quietly supported the granny. "Great-grandmother." Little Xingxing came to the granny's side and said in a tender voice. The old lady held little Xingxing's little hand with her withered palm and gently patted the back of little Xingxing's head. Her wrinkled face that had been sculpted by time squeezed out a loving smile. "Great-grandmother, don't worry. Nothing will happen to my father. The golden crow burning sky lightning won't be able to do anything to my father," little Xingxing said softly. His clear eyes were filled with determination. "Yes, nothing will happen to him." The granny nodded with a smile in her eyes. "Disciples of the clan, listen up." Suddenly, Jialo Changtian opened his mouth and looked at the calm space in front of him. His voice wasn't loud, but it was filled with an invisible wave. The sound wave spread out in all directions like a tide, resounding throughout the entire golden-winged Great Rocks clan. Today I, Jialo Changtian, will take Du Xiaofu as my adopted son. From today onwards, Du Xiaofu will be the young clan leader of the golden-winged Great Rocks clan. Jialo Changtian's voice resounded in every corner of the golden-winged Great Rocks clan. In the entire golden-winged Great Rock clan, all the disciples and young golden-winged Great Rock clan were shocked. On the square in front of the mountain, all the elders, protectors, Jialo Jueyu and the others were stunned. However, no one objected. Even the Great Elder and the Second Elder didn't say anything. Originally, the granny had taken Du Xiaofu as her adopted grandson. In fact, it was equivalent to Jialo Changtian's adopted son. However, there was still a big difference. But now that Jialo Changtian had said it himself, it was different. It was equivalent to gaining the true recognition of the entire golden-winged Great Rocks clan. Especially when Jialo Changtian said that Du Xiaofu was the young clan leader, it was even more important. It could be said that he was the future clan leader of the golden-winged Great Rocks clan. If Jialo Changtian had made such a decision in the past, the Great Elder and the others would have reminded him. After all, Du Xiaofu was still a human. But at this moment, no one said anything. Everyone is inside. My grandson can't hear it. The granny looked at Jialo Changtian, took little Xingxing's hand and said softly, "If he comes out in the future, he will also be my adopted son, the young clan leader of the golden-winged Great Rocks clan." Jialo Changtian replied. His voice seemed to echo in the square so that everyone could hear it. Then he looked at Jialo Jueyu and the others and said, "Everyone, go back and treat your injuries." Rumble. In the space of the dazzling golden sea of lightning, the thunder subsided. How could this be? Damn it, what's going on? At this moment, the golden lightning three-legged bird wanted to escape, but it realized that it was too late. The strange three-legged cauldron rotated, and the purple-gold lightning vortex at the entrance of the cauldron automatically devoured the energy of the golden crow-burning sky thunder. Although it had stopped sending itself into the tiger's mouth, the lightning treasure's automatic devouring speed was not too slow. If this continued for a long time, it would be enough to exhaust it. In this sealed space, the golden crow-burning sky thunder had lost its connection with the outside world. It couldn't recover at all. How could this be? What is this thing? The three-legged golden lightning bird's fierce eyes were stunned. It tried its best to stop the three-legged cauldron from devouring its energy, but it found that the effect was minimal. It couldn't stop it. The purple-gold lightning within the three-legged cauldron even made it feel afraid, as if it could suppress it. At this moment, the golden crow-burning sky thunder, from its original disdain and greed, began to panic and fear. It didn't dare to casually attack the three-legged cauldron lightning treasure. It was afraid that the more it attacked, the faster its energy would be consumed. In the misty space, Du Xiaofu's figure, who was sitting cross-legged, was surrounded by a golden energy halo. A tyrannical and fierce aura spread out. Chi-chi. When the golden energy halo gradually disappeared into his body, Du Xiaofu's tightly shut eyes suddenly opened. Golden light shot out from his eyes. Purple flames, starlight, and purple lightning surged at the same time. Then, they slowly converged into a clear and bright light. Hoo! A mouthful of turbid air was spat out from his throat. A vigorous and surging aura shook the surrounding space, causing the purple robe to flutter. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's originally pale face had unknowingly recovered its rosy color. Spying on the vigorous profound qi in his body and the abundant primordial spirit power in his mind's Niwen palace, Du Xiaofu's expression also secretly relaxed a little. Du Xiaofu estimated that it had already been more than a month in the desolate ancient space. He had only slightly recovered. This time, his injuries were not light. And it had only been a few days in the outside world. Du Xiaofu frowned slightly. He closed his eyes and released his mind, prying outside of the purple thunder profound cauldron. After a while, Du Xiaofu withdrew his mind and opened his slightly closed eyes, revealing a slight smile. As he probed with his mind, Du Xiaofu discovered that his purple thunder profound cauldron had been automatically devouring the golden crow heaven burning lightning. The golden crow heaven burning lightning had also begun to retreat. Without turning his gaze, Du Xiaofu seemed to be thinking about something. In the next moment, his figure disappeared from the desolate ancient space. When Du Xiaofu's figure reappeared, he was already outside of the purple thunder profound cauldron. His body was covered with a golden light barrier, isolating the surrounding golden crow heaven-burning lightning. Seeing Du Xiaofu appear again, the three-legged lightning golden giant bird stared at Du Xiaofu with its fierce eyes. Feeling the aura on Du Xiaofu's body and looking at Du Xiaofu's rosy face, the three-legged giant bird's eyes secretly surged with astonishment. Golden crow heaven-burning lightning, you can't do anything to me. It seems that I can't do anything to you for the time being. Why don't we both mind our own business and get along peacefully? Du Xiaofu raised his head and looked at the huge three-legged lightning golden giant bird. At this moment, the huge three-legged lightning golden giant bird in front of him was condensed by the golden crow heaven-burning lightning. How do we get along peacefully? The three-legged giant bird's eyes rippled. It seemed to be interested and asked Du Xiaofu. Looking at the three-legged giant bird, Du Xiaofu said without turning his eyes, "This space has collapsed. It seems that neither of us will be able to get out for 100 years. We can't fight for 100 years. Why don't we both take a step back? I won't deal with you and you don't provoke me. If you are willing to help me refine my divine body, I will help you if I can." Chapter 1376. Puny human, in your dreams. After I destroy you, everything will be mine. What right do you have to bargain with me? Suddenly, before Du Xiaofu could finish his sentence, the golden lightning three-legged bird suddenly changed its expression and moved. Crash! In a short instant, large expanses of dazzling golden lightning suddenly surged out from all directions around Du Xiaofu. They carried a violent and blazing aura of destruction as they distorted space and enveloped Du Xiaofu. The golden crow-burning sky lightning seemed to have the intention to negotiate with Du Xiaofu, but it was actually secretly attacking. As the golden crow-burning sky lightning, how could it negotiate with a puny human? That lightning treasure, the other spiritual lightning, and the lightning martial vein in Du Xiaofu's body were all things that it coveted. How could it let go of such an opportunity so easily? Rumble! Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Golden lightning exploded and swept around Du Xiaofu in all directions with a destructive force, enveloping Du Xiaofu. Bang bang bang, the lightning exploded. Immediately, a series of thunderous explosions resounded in the lightning space. Colorful golden lightning arcs exploded and filled the space. However, the moment the earth-shattering golden lightning exploded, the expression in the three-legged golden lightning bird's eyes changed drastically. Anger surged into its eyes. As the three-legged bird's eyes changed, a large amount of golden crow-burning sky lightning mysteriously disappeared where the lightning had exploded. Buzz! Then, a purple-gold lightning vortex appeared and a three-legged cauldron appeared. Du Xiaofu's figure had long disappeared. Don't want to get along peacefully? Then I'll do as you wish. Du Xiaofu's voice reverberated in the lightning space with a hint of sharpness. However, his body had already entered the purple lightning profound cauldron. Damn human bastard! Hearing Du Xiaofu's words, the three-legged golden lightning bird was furious. It did not expect the human to be so fast. It was obvious that the treacherous human had been guarding against it. However, although the golden crow-burning sky lightning was furious, it could do nothing. It did not even dare to attack the three-legged cauldron. It was afraid that its energy would be devoured more and more. At that time, it would become weaker and weaker. This space was too disadvantageous for it. However, Du Xiaofu, who had entered the purple lightning profound cauldron, did not look any better. In a space of the purple lightning profound cauldron, Du Xiaofu stood with his hands behind his back. Although he was still safe with the purple lightning profound cauldron, he couldn't really hide here for 100 years. How many years did he have to cultivate? How Fuzalu? To Du Xiaofu had to Du Xiaofu had to, Du Xiaofu had Du Xiaofu's SS. He still had to save his master, the academy and the seven-star hall's blood feud, and his family had yet to be reunited. 100 years might be nothing to other Nirvana realm martial venerables. However, Du Xiaofu knew that he could not afford to waste 100 years. The seal outside was different. Du Xiaofu did not know if he could get out by relying on his meridian spirit. However, this space was the space of the golden crow burning sky lightning. He could not get out even if he hid in the purple lightning profound cauldron. Naturally, he did not even have the chance to try, unless he could get rid of the golden crow burning sky lightning. Du Xiaofu could only smile bitterly at the initial domain-level golden crow burning sky lightning. It was already good enough that he could stay safely in the purple lightning profound cauldron. He was afraid that he would not be able to do anything to the golden crow burning sky lightning at this moment. If he angered the golden crow burning sky lightning, a cornered dog would jump over a wall, and a cornered rabbit would bite. When the golden crow burning sky lightning attacked with all its might, both sides would suffer. As he pondered, Du Xiaofu thought of many possible methods, but they were all useless. Trapped in the purple lightning profound cauldron, the first thing he had to get rid of was the golden crow burning sky lightning. It seems to be getting weaker. After a while, through the purple lightning profound cauldron and the golden crow burning sky lightning, Du Xiaofu could feel that the golden crow burning sky lightning was weaker than a few days ago. For some reason, it seemed that the golden crow burning sky lightning was unable to recover the power it had consumed. Sensing this phenomenon, Du Xiaofu seemed to have grasped something. The purple lightning profound cauldron had been devouring the golden crow burning sky lightning, but the power of the golden crow burning sky lightning was weakening. Although this weakening could not be sensed by those whose primordial spirit was not sharp enough, it would definitely become weaker if this continued. There's a chance. Suddenly, a glint flashed across Du Xiaofu's eyes, and a slight smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Du Xiaofu estimated that as long as the purple lightning profound cauldron kept devouring the golden crow burning sky lightning, the power of the golden crow burning sky lightning would become weaker and weaker. Once the golden crow burning sky lightning was consumed to a certain extent, he would have a chance. And if he could strengthen himself during this period, his chances of winning would become greater and greater. Being in the purple lightning profound cauldron would not affect his cultivation at all. Talisman Dao, martial Dao, and various profound mystical abilities required time to cultivate and comprehend. They could all strengthen himself. However, at this moment, Du Xiaofu thought of refining his divine body. His original goal of entering the great golden-winged rock clan's secret ground was to successfully refine his divine body and achieve the true rock body. Before the golden crow burning sky lightning went berserk, Du Xiaofu had also clearly felt the transformation of his physical body by using the golden crow burning sky lightning to refine his divine body. However, given the current situation, Du Xiaofu knew that he could no longer use the golden crow burning sky lightning to refine his divine body. The purple gold profound lightning should only be above the golden crow burning sky lightning. I wonder. While thinking, Du Xiaofu's eyes suddenly lit up and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. The third level of the golden-winged great pengbird's body tempering technique required the most tyrannical spiritual thunder to temper the divine body. The purple gold profound thunder in the purple thunder profound cauldron, whether it was tyrannical or oppressive, was definitely not something the golden crow heaven burning thunder could compare to. Therefore, at this moment, Du Xiaofu suddenly had a thought in his mind. How would it be if he used his purple gold profound lightning to refine his divine body? As the thought flashed through his mind, it became more and more uncontrollable. Du Xiaofu indeed hoped that he could successfully refine his divine body and make his physical body stronger again. Let's give it a try. There shouldn't be a problem. Du Xiaofu said softly. He had already made up his mind and decided to give it a try. As his voice fell, Du Xiaofu's figure disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in a vast void. The void was a little gray and there was a thick purple thundercloud in the sky. Within the purple thundercloud, there were purple streaks of lightning and a huge aura that made one's heart palpitate spread out. A powerful thunderbolt pressure spread from within it, causing a chill to rise on one's skin. The degree of overbearingness and might was definitely many times stronger than the golden crow sky burning lightning at the same level. Begin. Taking a deep breath, Du Xiaofu looked at the churning purple thundercloud in the sky. In the next moment, he sat down cross-legged and formed a seal with his hands. Sizzle. At that moment, as Du Xiaofu's figure sat cross-legged in the void, a purple thundercloud with crackling electric arcs pressed down from the sky. Bright purple electric arcs flashed in the sky and shuttled back and forth in the gray space. The electric arcs that lit up the space made one's heart palpitate. An abnormally terrifying thunder might surged out and filled the entire void. Boom! In the thick purple thundercloud, strands of purple electric arcs quietly penetrated the cloud layer and the entire space could not help but tremble. Sizzle. At the same time, purple electric arcs spread out from all directions and pressed down at a speed that was as fast as teleportation. In an instant, the lightning flashed and the purple electric arcs turned into purple thunderbolts that burst out of the thundercloud. Dazzling light poured down and countless purple thunderbolts fell from the sky and densely fell on Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu's hand seals were quickly forming, but at that moment, he did not even activate any defensive means and directly faced it with his physical body. The purple gold profound lightning in the purple thunder profound cauldron was originally controlled by Du Xiaofu, and Du Xiaofu had already achieved the immortal Xian body under the purple gold profound lightning's forging. The purple gold profound lightning was destructive to others, but to Du Xiaofu, even if he bathed in the purple thunder profound cauldron, it would not be much of a problem. At that moment, what Du Xiaofu needed to do was to activate the golden rocks method of refining the divine body and absorb the power of the purple gold profound lightning to refine the divine body. Although Du Xiaofu had already achieved the immortal Xian body under the purple gold profound lightning's refinement. However, the golden rock's refinement of the divine body to achieve the true rock body was not the same as the immortal Xian body, and they did not conflict with each other. If he could successfully refine the divine body, it would definitely complement the immortal Xian body and bring his physical body to a new level. Rumble, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. Purple thunderclouds rolled in the sky and a huge purple thunderbolt as thick as an arm fell down like an angry dragon. Wherever the thunderbolt passed, the space distorted. Many thunderbolts fell directly on Du Xiaofu's physical body. The bright purple electric arcs immediately wreaked havoc on Du Xiaofu's body. At that moment, Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged as if he was unmoved. He absorbed the power of the purple gold profound lightning and began to refine the divine body. Bolts of purple thunderbolts surged into Du Xiaofu's body. The domineering and destructive power of thunderbolts instantly spread throughout his body and bones, bringing with it waves of domineering and blazing energy. Du Xiaofu closed his eyes and activated the golden rocks method of refining the divine body to absorb the power of the purple gold profound lightning. He was pleasantly surprised to find that, just as he expected, the purple gold profound lightning could completely replace the golden crow heaven-burning thunder to refine the divine body. Its effect was even stronger than the golden crow heaven-burning thunder. Moreover, all of this made it easier for Du Xiaofu to control, and the pain he had to endure was much less. When the thunderbolts fell and surged into Du Xiaofu's body, the pain it brought was almost negligible. With his own purple gold profound lightning and the immortal Xian body, how could Du Xiaofu's physical body feel so much pain? In his surprise, Du Xiaofu immediately immersed himself in refining the divine body. Chapter 1377. Time passed slowly. Ever since the seven-star hall was destroyed, Du Xiaofu had been hiding everywhere. He also had to be wary of people from the devil religion. Even when he left the Stone City, Du Xiaofu had been through countless battles. He had encountered many life and death situations and had escaped death many times. This made Du Xiaofu even more determined. He had to become stronger. As long as there was a chance to become stronger, he would not let it go. Refining his divine body to achieve the body of a true rock was not as simple as improving his physical body to another level for Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu himself had cultivated the cultivation technique of the great golden-winged rock clan by chance. Once he achieved the body of a true rock, it would be greatly beneficial for him in the future. The body of a true rock. The words true rock were enough to explain everything. Back when he was refining his body, Du Xiaofu had entered the true rock realm by chance. If he could achieve the body of a true rock now, it would undoubtedly mean that he could go further and further in the future. His potential was limitless. Thinking back to the ancient ancestors of the great golden-winged rock clan, the true rock looked down on the universe and flew up 90,000 miles. How domineering was that? At this moment, Du Xiaofu gave up on refining his divine body with the golden crow burning sky thunder. This was because no matter how one looked at it, the purple gold mystic bomb was stronger than the golden crow burning sky thunder. Back then, Du Xiaofu did not know the cultivation technique of refining his divine body. That was why he did not use the purple gold mystic bomb. If he had known earlier, Du Xiaofu would have tried it long ago. What Du Xiaofu was doing now was using the purple gold mystic bomb to refine his physical body and let it evolve. He was using the purple gold mystic bomb to nourish his physical body. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was completely immersed in refining his divine body. At the same time, he was comprehending the supreme beast energy of the great golden-winged rock clan. As time passed, 1 day, 2 days, 10 days, 20 days, until the last 100 days and even 200 days had passed, Du Xiaofu was still immersed in refining his divine body. When he first entered the secret area of the golden-winged great rocks, he only had 3 months to refine his divine body. If he didn't succeed in refining his god body in 3 months, he wouldn't have many chances left. However, at this moment, Du Xiaofu had been refining his god body with the purple gold Xian bomb for almost half a year, but there was still no sign of success. However, during this process, Du Xiaofu's physical body had indeed strengthened at a visible rate. Du Xiaofu's purple robe had been destroyed by the purple gold profound bombs at some point in time, and he was sitting naked with his legs crossed. Faint golden light surged and overflowed from his body. It seemed to have fused with his flesh and blood. At a closer look, one could see that there were golden talisman engravings flowing in Du Xiaofu's sparkling and translucent body. Those golden talisman engravings were related to the golden-winged great rocks. They were constantly condensing, like seeds sown in the soil. They were taking root and sprouting, beginning to show life. Du Xiaofu, who was sitting calmly, was glowing all over. His sparkling and translucent body was like a miracle. Electric arcs were fluctuating all over his body, and the talisman engravings were flowing. At a closer look, Du Xiaofu, who was sitting cross-legged, gave off an inexplicable feeling that he was a human-shaped golden-winged great rocks. Time slowly passed just like that. Other than the sound of thunder, the void was completely silent. No one would come in to disturb them. In this space, Du Xiaofu's eyes were tightly shut, as if he had completely entered a state of emptiness. Du Xiaofu's resolute face was as calm as water. There were no fluctuations in his emotions, but for some reason, he exuded a mysterious feeling. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was immersed in comprehending the supreme beast energy of the golden-winged great rocks. His body was tempering his divine body, and he had cast aside everything in his heart, including the reunion of his family and the blood feud between Tianwu Academy and the Seven-Star Hall. In this tranquil state of mind, Du Xiaofu comprehended divine abilities, tempered his body, and comprehended the profoundness behind them. This was a mysterious state that one could only come across by chance. Du Xiaofu knew that he would be trapped for 100 years and was unable to deal with the golden crow heaven incinerating lightning. Thus, he could only cast aside everything in helplessness and enter this state of serendipity. To cultivators, even if they cultivated in seclusion, they couldn't escape the influence of the secular world. It was very difficult for them to fully immerse themselves in cultivation. This naturally had a huge impact on their cultivation. Thus, the experts in the huge mountain sects in this world would hand over the mountain sects to outstanding juniors after reaching a certain level of cultivation. They would then try their best to cast aside everything and hide in the mountains to cultivate or wander the world to comprehend the great Tao. It was definitely not easy for ordinary people to cast aside everything in order to fully immerse themselves in their cultivation. Casting aside everything was just a few words, but it was extremely difficult to do. Only those with great perseverance and comprehension could truly achieve such a state. However, Du Xiaofu was currently in a helpless state and was able to do so. Once one was fully immersed in cultivation and entered this mysterious state of emptiness, the comprehension of cultivation would no longer be boring. Instead, it would be a form of enjoyment that came from the inside out. Without a doubt, Du Xiaofu was currently enjoying the joy that cultivation brought. Sizzle! Suddenly, Du Xiaofu's eyes that had been closed for half a year suddenly opened. Golden light burst out and his eyes were filled with golden talisman patterns. It was as if the shadow of a golden-winged rock was about to fly out from the depths of his eyes. Why can't I succeed? I've reached the end of refining the divine body. Du Xiaofu murmured and his eyes were filled with doubt. The purple gold xian bombs were still falling around him. However, when they landed on Du Xiaofu's body, they didn't cause much of a disturbance. Du Xiaofu was in deep thought and doubt. It had been so long, but he still hadn't succeeded in refining the divine body. However, his body had already strengthened to an extreme. That feeling made Du Xiaofu feel like he was on the verge of success, but he still felt that something was missing. Thus, he couldn't break through the threshold. Deep thought, pondering, as the purple gold xian bombs continued to fall from the sky, Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged in the lightning without blinking for more than 60 hours. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was in deep thought. Looking from afar, he looked like a fool. If someone were to see this scene at this moment, they would definitely think that Du Xiaofu had been struck into a fool by the terrifying purple gold profound lightning. Ha! At a certain moment, Du Xiaofu, who was in deep thought, finally raised his head and laughed. His resolute face was full of smiles as he said, "I see. I understand now. I finally understand. The body of a true rock. I'm a human. How can I become a true rock? Refining the divine feathers, cleansing the marrow, and also forging the physical body. Refining the divine body is a great city and achieving the body of a true rock. As for me, I'm a human. Everything returns to the origin. Refining the divine body, it's a true divine body." As soon as he finished speaking, Du Xiaofu's face was wild with joy. He formed a hand seal and guided the purple gold xian bombs into his body. Immediately, a rather strange crackling sound came from Du Xiaofu's body, as if his limbs, bones, muscles, internal organs, meridians, and acupoints were all resonating at the same time, reverberating sonorously. Du Xiaofu's body was glowing. Mysterious talismans were overflowing. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's entire body, from inside to outside, began to transform again. It was as if billions of cells and pores were emitting dazzling golden light. At this moment, if there were experts of the golden-winged great rocks here, they would definitely exclaim in surprise for Du Xiaofu. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's body was changing just like the body of a true rock. Du Xiaofu was moving towards the completion of the body of a true rock, but there was a slight difference between it and the body of a true rock. Du Xiaofu's body glowed. The purple gold xian bombs covered his bones and tendons. Electric arcs overflowed. His entire body was sparkling and translucent, like a divine body occupying the void. Time was like quicksand between fingers. It couldn't be held and quietly passed. It had been a full 7 months since the incident in the golden-winged Great Rock's secret land. In these 7 months, Du Xiaofu and Xiaolong helped the golden-winged Great Rock's descendants under the attack of the Golden Crow Sky-Burning Thunder. In the end, Du Xiaofu even risked his own life to help everyone escape. The news that he was in a desperate situation had already spread throughout the entire golden-winged Great Rock's clan. All the descendants of the golden-winged Great Rocks were shocked and grateful to Du Xiaofu. If it wasn't for Du Xiaofu's help back then, the golden-winged Great Rocks clan would have suffered a huge blow that they couldn't bear. For the young men and women of the younger generation who had escaped death back then, 7 months had passed, but they still had lingering fears. They often thought of the purple-robed young man who risked his own life and ended up in a desperate situation. In these 7 months, little Xingxing was no longer ostracized by any descendants of the golden-winged Great Rocks clan. Little Xingxing also didn't go to the golden-winged Great Rock's medicinal field to steal spiritual herbs and treasures of heaven and earth. Instead, 6 months ago, little Xingxing entered the golden-winged Great Rock's Earth realm to comprehend. For a full half a year, he had never come out. With the help of Jialo Kaling, Zi Xian entered the golden-winged Great Rocks, Heaven Realm, after an unknown transaction with the golden-winged Great Rocks. It had also been half a year. At dusk, the sun set in the west. The world was shrouded in golden silence. The distant mountains were covered in the sunset glow, causing half the sky to turn bright red like a belt of fire. Chi! Within the golden-winged Great Rocks, Earth Realm, a small body swept out like lightning. In just a flash, it disappeared. What's the origin of this little girl? Her strength seems to have improved a lot. Outside the Earth Realm, in a simple courtyard, an old man with white eyebrows and a beard suddenly opened his eyes. A faint golden light flashed in his eyes before he continued to close his eyes. In a quiet courtyard in a deep valley. Great-grandmother. As the childish voice sounded, little Xingxing's figure appeared in the courtyard. Little girl, you're finally willing to come out? From the courtyard, Jialo Kaling's sexy figure walked out and looked at little Xingxing with a smile. However, Jialo Kailing's beautiful eyes were filled with golden radiance. She immediately stared at little Xingxing. After a while, the corners of her mouth curled up in shock. She couldn't help but curl her lips and say, "Little girl, your progress is really fast. How did you cultivate? How infuriating!" Chapter 1378. At this moment, Jialo Kaling could clearly feel that the invisible aura on little Xingxing's body was much stronger than it was half a year ago. Although it was still far from the beast realm, it should have reached the middle stage of the Nirvana Sovereign Realm. When she broke through the Nirvana Sovereign Realm and reached the middle stage of the Nirvana Sovereign Realm, it took her a total of 10 years. From the Nirvana Sovereign Realm to the Martial Domain Realm, it took her a total of 50 years. In the entire golden-winged Great Rock clan, her talent was enough to be ranked at the top. But now, the little girl had cultivated for 10 years in just half a year. Based on this speed, Jialo Kaling guessed that the little girl would be able to break through to the beast realm in a few years. At that time, she would be an absolute monster among all the beast clans. A beast realm cultivator at such a young age had never appeared in the entire beast clan. "I'm cultivating normally." Little Xingxing rolled her eyes at Jialo Kaling. She didn't feel that her cultivation speed was fast at all. Instead, she felt that her cultivation speed was a bit slow. Fortunately, Jialo Kaling didn't know what little Xingxing was thinking. If she knew that little Xingxing was complaining that her cultivation speed wasn't fast enough, she would have collapsed. "Little girl, how's your comprehension in the Earth Realm?" The old lady walked out from behind Jialo Kaling and asked little Xingxing with a kind smile. "Not bad. I've comprehended most of the things inside." Little Xingxing intimately went to the old lady's side. "Have you comprehended most of the things in the Earth Realm?" Jialo Kaling couldn't help but roll her eyes at little Xingxing. The collection in the Earth Realm was enormous. It could be considered the core of the golden-winged Great Rock clan. She had spent at least a few decades in the Earth Realm. Even now, she didn't dare to say that she had comprehended most of the things in the Earth Realm. However, Jialo Kaling knew that the little girl before her wouldn't lie. The only explanation was that the little girl was too monstrous. A monstrous father and daughter pair. Jialo Kaling sighed in her heart. She couldn't help but think of the purple-robed youth. Unfortunately, so much time had passed, and a miracle still hadn't appeared. "It's good that you've mostly comprehended it. Then, go to the heavenly realm to comprehend it," the old lady said to little Xingxing with a smile. "Great-grandmother, I won't go and comprehend it for now. I want to leave the golden-winged Great Rocks and come back to comprehend the divine abilities in the heaven realm." Little Xingxing raised his little face and spoke with a serious expression, as if he had already made a decision in his heart. "You want to leave? Where are you going? Your godmother is still in the heavenly realm. Don't you want to wait for your father to come out?" Jialo Kaling frowned and asked little Xingxing in confusion. "I want to return to the beast region to temper myself. Only by tempering myself can I make breakthroughs and grow stronger faster. My father is trapped, but I know he'll be fine. We still have some grudges to avenge in the Central Plains. Now that my father is trapped, I have to do something for him. 100 years later, when my father comes out, we'll be able to slaughter our way back to the Central Plains. On little Xingxing's childish face, golden flames faintly rose in his eyes. He seemed to have matured a lot in the past half a year, giving off the feeling of a little adult. Then little Xingxing smiled at Jialo Kaling and said, "Aunt Kaling, when my mother comes out, help me tell her that I'm in the Beast region and that she doesn't have to worry." "All right, Auntie will tell your mother." Jialo Kaling was stunned for a moment before nodding slightly. At this moment, her father had already taken that fellow as his godson. Naturally, that fellow was her little brother, and she was naturally little Xingxing's aunt. Jialo Kaling had always been happy to have such a monstrous little niece. "It's good to go out and temper yourself. You're much stronger than those little fellows in the clan." The old lady looked at little Xingxing and didn't stop him. She only instructed little Xingxing, "In the Beast region, as long as you don't meet the older generation, no one will be able to do anything to you. Once you meet those old fellows, just reveal your great-grandmother's identity. I believe they won't dare to touch you. However, you must be careful of the dragons. You also have to be careful of some eccentric old fellows." "I'll be careful, great-grandmother." Little Xingxing nodded. She could feel that this great-grandmother really cared about her. "Also, accompany great-grandmother well for 3 days. You're only allowed to leave," the old lady said to little Xingxing. Little Xingxing nodded and replied with a smile, "Okay." And so, for the next 3 days, little Xingxing accompanied the old lady in the secluded valley. Although she said she was accompanying the old lady, only little Xingxing knew that the old lady had been guiding her cultivation for the past 3 days. She taught her everything. On the evening of the 3rd day, the old lady gave little Xingxing many treasures and spiritual medicines and warned her again. On the morning of the 2nd day, little Xingxing left the golden-winged Great Peng clan. "Little Xingxing, come back when you have time. Be careful. Little Xingxing will miss you." Jialo Kaling and the old lady personally sent little Xingxing off. There were also a few younger brothers who had been protected by little Xingxing. They also reluctantly said goodbye to little Xingxing. Little Xingxing turned around. Her bewitching and clear eyes were slightly moist. "I'm leaving then." The small figure leaped into the ripples of the pale golden space vortex in midair and gradually disappeared. Rumble, in the void of the purple thunder profound cauldron, the energy of the purple gold profound lightning kept falling. Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged naked. His flesh and blood were emitting a golden radiance. Accompanied by purple electric arcs, a mysterious energy was nourishing his body. In the space of the purple gold profound lightning, Du Xiaofu's body was dazzling at this moment. It was like a miracle. For no reason, it made people feel that it was like a humanoid Peng had turned into a divine being. Du Xiaofu's physical body was transforming from the inside to the outside. It was a mysterious transformation. In the end, it was as if the shadow of a golden-winged great rock appeared from within Du Xiaofu's flesh and bones. The shadow of the golden-winged great Peng was connected to Du Xiaofu's body. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was like a divine being, giving people a feeling that he was pure and flawless. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was like a divine being from the kingdom of heaven. He didn't belong to this world. No one could see any trace of the demon king on his body. Refining the god body from the inside to the outside, from the cells, marrow, bones, flesh, meridians, acupuncture points, internal organs, all the way to the limbs and the surface of the body. Under the refining of the purple gold profound lightning, Du Xiaofu used the body refining technique of the golden-winged Great Peng to transform his body. Everything was mysterious and abstruse. When he reached the profound realm, he had leaped to a new level. Time flew. Du Xiaofu didn't move or shake. He just focused on his transformation. His heart was calm as he immersed himself in the joy of cultivating. Just like that, until the mysterious shadow of the golden-winged Great Peng on Du Xiaofu's body merged with his flesh and blood. The purplish gold profound lightning in this space quietly disappeared, and the endless rumbling sounds of lightning and thunder gradually faded away until it completely calmed down in the end. Phew! Finally, traces of purple electric arcs overflowed from Du Xiaofu's body. The purple electric arcs were like spiritual snakes that went in and out of his mouth and nose. Then they disappeared. Sizzle. Then Du Xiaofu opened his eyes. His eyes were overflowing with golden light. It was as if they had materialized and soared into the sky, breaking through the purple thunderclouds. Boom! A powerful and domineering aura swept out from Du Xiaofu's body in an instant, causing the entire space to tremble with a loud bang. Along with a joyful laugh, Du Xiaofu jumped out from sitting cross-legged. He stood in the air with his arms open. His whole body was overflowing with golden light. He was like a real Peng in human form. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's body was sparkling and translucent. It emitted a faint purple-gold color. It also had a spiritual aura. It was extraordinary and domineering, refining the body, the real divine body. Success. Feeling the changes in his body at this moment, the dazzling golden light in Du Xiaofu's eyes did not disappear for a long time. He had finally succeeded in refining the divine body with the purple-gold profound lightning for more than half a year. Although it was not the real Peng's body that had succeeded, Du Xiaofu knew very well that the real divine body was definitely not inferior to the real Peng's body. He was not a real golden-winged Peng bird. Naturally, he could not truly become the real Peng's body. The real divine body was his real Peng's body. Boom! Suddenly, just as Du Xiaofu was feeling happy, the space trembled as if it had suffered a violent impact. Finally can't hold it in anymore. Du Xiaofu withdrew his expression. His mind probed as the arc at the corner of his mouth solidified. Following which, he put on a new purple robe, shoes and socks from his Qinquan bag before his body immediately disappeared. Rumble. In the space of the golden lightning sea, golden lightning from all directions surrounded the huge purple-gold profound lightning and swept towards it. The violent and scorching aura of destruction seemed to want to destroy the purple thunder profound cauldron. The huge three-legged golden lightning bird flapped its wings in the sky. Its ferocious eyes were filled with anger. After more than half a year, it finally could not hold it in anymore. That three-legged cauldron was a lightning treasure, and it was devouring its energy in an endless stream. Unknowingly, the golden crow-burning sky lightning suddenly realized that it had lost at least 40% of its energy in the past half a year. If this continued, the golden crow heaven-burning lightning felt that it wouldn't take long before it was completely devoured by the strange three-legged cauldron lightning treasure. Could come out? Do you think you can be safe and sound by hiding in there? Do you want to slowly exhaust me? You won't get what you want. At most, we will fight to the death. No one will be able to take advantage of us. The three-legged golden lightning bird screeched and pulled the lightning in the golden lightning sea towards the purple thunder profound cauldron. Rumble. Thunder exploded and lightning raged. At this moment, the purple thunder profound cauldron was like a lonely boat in a tsunami. It was swaying with the waves and could be overturned at any time. However, if one looked carefully, one could still see that the purple-gold profound lightning vortex was still spinning at the mouth of the purple thunder profound cauldron. It was continuously devouring the golden crow-burning sky lightning. Today's update will start at night. During the day, I have to practice driving, work, and catch up on my sleep. That's why I can only stay up late at night to rush the manuscript. Today's update will continue. For the past few days, I only released one update a day. So, I have to pay back the overdue updates. Oh, Xiao Yu, I need to catch up on my sleep. Chapter 1379. Du Xiaofu's figure appeared outside the purple lightning profound cauldron. His body was wrapped in golden light energy as he stared at the golden lightning three-legged bird in front of him. Rumble. At this moment, lightning raged within the golden lightning space. The space trembled violently and the sound of thunder was ear-piercing, causing one's mind to feel dizzy. The golden lightning three-legged bird looked at Du Xiaofu with surprise in its fierce eyes. At this moment, when it looked at the human, it felt an inexplicable tremble. Compared to half a year ago, the human's aura seemed to have changed. It felt completely different from before, causing it to tremble for no reason. Brat, you can't wait any longer. However, the golden lightning three-legged bird looked down at Du Xiaofu with its fierce eyes and suppressed the inexplicable trembling in its heart. It did not want to miss this opportunity. Its huge lightning body flapped its wings, bringing with it countless golden lightning bolts. The palpitating huge golden lightning bolts crazily danced and swept towards the purple lightning profound cauldron from all directions. At this moment, the purple lightning profound cauldron was like a lone boat in a stormy sea. It was on the verge of collapse under the torrential golden lightning, but it was still continuously devouring the golden crow sky-burning lightning. Dang dang. Du Xiaofu's body was continuously pushed back by the wild golden crow sky-burning lightning. He waved his sleeve and brought with it a large amount of purple gold profound lightning. Only then did he stabilize his body. I want to see if you can continue to resist. This scene caused shock to flash across the three-legged bird's eyes once again. However, it was unwilling to fall into the trap of being continuously devoured. Its huge lightning body moved horizontally. Numerous bright golden lightning bolts covered the sky like a heavenly thunder eruption and once again pressed towards the purple lightning profound cauldron. Devour. Du Xiaofu's expression darkened. The profound energy on his body invisibly poured into the purple lightning profound cauldron. Immediately, the purple lightning profound cauldron, which was on the verge of collapse, expanded once again. After which, it sat in the air like a boulder and no longer swayed. Countless purple gold spiritual snakes spread out from within the purple lightning profound cauldron's cave. They shuttled through the air and gathered into a deep purple gold profound lightning vortex. Rumble. Large amounts of purple gold thunderbolts spread out from around the purple gold thunderbolt vortex. Rumbling noises reverberated in the air, and the destructive power of the golden crow sky-burning thunderbolts continued to be devoured by the vortex, disappearing without a trace. Bastard! The three-legged bird screeched loudly, its voice became sharp. Its fierce eyes shot out lightning, and golden lightning filled the sky. It was as if countless bombs had exploded, and the destructive power kept attacking the purple lightning profound cauldron. A terrifying devouring power erupted from the purple thunder profound cauldron. It did not reject the incoming golden crow sky-burning lightning. As the saying goes, the first spurt of energy, the second spurt of energy, the second spurt of energy, and the third spurt of energy was exhausted. Under the continuous outbursts of the golden crow sky-burning lightning, even in its most violent and destructive state, it was unable to do anything to the purple lightning profound cauldron. Its aura involuntarily retreated once again. This change in aura could not escape the prying of Du Xiaofu's sharp essence spirit. It seems like its aura has weakened quite a bit. Du Xiaofu's body was also pushed back quite a bit. Although the violent attack of the golden crow sky-burning lightning was blocked by the purple lightning profound cauldron, it also affected Du Xiaofu imperceptibly. However, it was this effect that allowed Du Xiaofu to clearly feel that the golden crow sky-burning lightning was at least half as weak as it was half a year ago. In addition, the golden crow sky-burning lightning had consumed a lot of energy to destroy the seal in the hall. Therefore, when facing the golden crow sky-burning lightning, Du Xiaofu did not feel that it was as difficult to fight against it as it did at the beginning. Let's see how long you can fight against it. The three-legged thunderbird roared, and once again flapped its wings, and a wave of thunderbolts swept towards Du Xiaofu. It started to focus on Du Xiaofu's physical body, and deliberately avoided the three-legged cauldron. Motherfucker, do you really think I'm easy to deal with? A kind person would be bullied, and a soft persimmon would be pinched. Du Xiaofu was also angry. As he roared, his golden eyes were instantly filled with a purple thunderbolt. He condensed a seal, and his whole body was immediately covered with a purple thunderbolt talisman. Boom! Suddenly, the golden thunderbolt space trembled violently. Suddenly, with Du Xiaofu at the center, waves after waves of purple lightning surged in the empty space. They instantly covered the entire space, causing the vast space to violently tremble. Du Xiaofu activated the Thunder Martial Vein, and purple electric arcs spread out from the surface of his body. There was a purple rainstorm, and purple silver snakes flashed in the void. The murderous aura spread. It did not carry any killing intent, but it showed the majesty of creation and the righteousness of heaven and earth. In a short moment, purple thunderbolts gathered in Du Xiaofu's palm, and fiercely collided with the golden thunderbolts in front of him. The purple thunderbolts were as strong as Yang, and they could be mighty and punish all living things. In an instant, the two thunderbolts collided and the thunderbolt energy exploded, like a bright firework bursting into the sky. Rumble! The golden and purple thunderbolts were overflowing, and such a collision caused the space to reverberate. Dang dang! Under the violent and scorching destructive power, Du Xiaofu's body was directly pushed back. The collision of energy made Du Xiaofu's face turn a little pale, but he was able to resist it. The remaining power of the golden thunderbolt was directly absorbed by Du Xiaofu's thunder martial vein, and it could strengthen the thunder martial vein. At this moment, under the violent and scorching destructive aura of the golden crow sky burning thunder, Du Xiaofu felt that his physical body was not much affected at this moment. That was the benefit of the real divine body. His physical body and the immortal Xian body complemented each other, and it was once again strengthened to a new level. It's getting weaker and weaker. Du Xiaofu stabilized his body and raised his head slightly. He looked at the enormous three-legged large lightning bird that was agglomerated from the golden crow sky burning lightning in the sky. It was just as he had sensed. The energy that the golden crow sky burning lightning exhausted was unable to recover within this realm. Instead, it would only become increasingly weaker. Therefore, the golden crow sky burning lightning was unable to endure any longer and launched an attack at him. Looking at the thunder martial vein that covered Du Xiaofu's body, and the three-legged cauldron thunder treasure above his head, the three-legged thunderbird's fierce eyes were burning with greed, and at the same time, some fear surged out. But then, the golden thunderbird's face darkened, and its huge body did not stop, and directly dived towards Du Xiaofu. "Kid, everything you have is mine. Give up resisting, and after I devour you, I will no longer be trapped in this darkness." The three-legged golden thunderbird screeched and moved, bringing with it a domineering and destructive thunderbolt. It surged out violently from the surrounding space, whistling and sweeping out in a crushing manner. It's not like I haven't devoured spiritual thunder before. If you have any ideas about me, then I'll refine you, and your best chance has been completely lost. Du Xiaofu's mouth curved into a malicious smile. If it was half a year ago when the golden crow sky-burning thunder recklessly attacked him, Du Xiaofu would be absolutely fearful and afraid. But at this moment, the golden crow sky-burning thunder had unknowingly fallen in front of the purple thunder profound cauldron, and half of its energy had been devoured. And Du Xiaofu was even more tyrannical than before. Under this situation, the situation had quietly changed. "Go!" Du Xiaofu shouted, and the thunder martial vein in his body was activated. The purple thunder profound cauldron rotated, and a large amount of purple-gold thunderbolts swept out, covering the sky and the earth. It boiled in this space, and a domineering and destructive energy filled the air, violent and destructive. Rumble! As a result, the three thunderbolt forces collided, and the thunder and lightning space resounded endlessly. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was not at a disadvantage, but he also did not have the upper hand. But in the stalemate, Du Xiaofu's thunder martial vein and the purple thunder profound cauldron above his head continued to devour the golden crow sky-burning thunder. The thunder martial vein in his body devoured the energy of the golden crow sky-burning thunder, and Du Xiaofu could clearly feel that the thunder martial vein was being nourished and slowly strengthened, as if it was tempering his body. Outside the dark forest, there were millions of majestic mountains. In the middle, demonic beasts roamed freely, and ferocious beasts emerged endlessly. Behind the millions of mountains, there was a long river of 8,000 miles, which was a paradise for demonic beasts in the water. The vast and boundless water surface stretched as far as the eye could see, and there was no end in sight. In the early morning around the long river of 8,000 miles, there were mountains surrounding it, and the morning glow rose, like countless giant dragons spitting out golden waterfalls. The sunlight gradually shone, and the scales on the surface of the water flickered. Roar! In the long river of the central province, many ferocious beasts shuttled back and forth. Their huge bodies occasionally leaped out of the water, and their bodies emitted a terrifying aura. Awoo! In the millions of mountains, the roars of beasts could be heard from time to time. In the vast mountain range, huge beast shadows were continuous. It was a huge beast tide. Rumble. In the early morning, on the long river of the central province, there were countless huge ships arranged in a formation, stopping in the middle of the sea of demonic beasts in the water. On the ships, there were densely packed figures standing upright. On all the huge ships, there was the same symbol. It was the shadow of a golden-winged rock, with lightning runes. It was the emblem of the barren country and the world society. This was the army of the barren country and the world society. At this moment, there were densely packed figures floating in midair above the long river of the central province, forming a sea of people. All of them were wearing shining armors, and their weapons were flashing with runes. Their auras were sharp and murderous. Dark clouds gathered in the sky, shrouding the entire long river, and the space faintly trembled. In front of the army, there were hundreds of auras that were vigorous and sharp. Their eyes shone brightly, as if they had materialized. The figures at the front were the mysterious Dragon King, Stone Turtle King, Ice Python King, Flame Carp King, Absolute Sword King, Golden Condor King, Hua Fan Kong, Chao Yu, Han Exen, and other world society experts. Over the years, their cultivation and strength had improved by leaps and bounds with the cultivation resources of the world society and the barren country. One must know that these experts had their talents enhanced by the divine thunder body tempering in the purple thunder profound cauldron. Such treatment could only be enjoyed by the elites. At the front of the army were the Medicine King Yi Wuming, Murong Yorua, Yi Zijin, Li Shui, Eagle King, Gong Dao, Silver-Winged Demonic Condor, and other world society higher-ups. Chapter 1380. Everyone waited quietly. Mist rose from the vast water surface in front of them, blurring their vision. Whoosh! Suddenly, the sound of wind breaking resounded, and a figure appeared in the sky. It was a young man in his late 20s or early 30s. He was quite handsome and had an extraordinary temperament. Looking at the huge lineup of the world society, the young man's eyes flashed with some shock, followed by some disdain. The young man's eyes swept over Murong Yorua, Yi Zijin, Li Shui, and the others' beautiful faces and tempting figures. Finally, with a faint sneer, he said in a cold voice, "Under the orders of the leader of the Purifying Evil Alliance, the world society and the desolate country are to retreat within 10 days. Otherwise, the Purifying Evil Alliance's army will flatten the desolate country and the world society." His voice was arrogant, echoing in the central province's long river in the early morning. The young man was obviously doing it on purpose. His voice was mixed with celestial chi, stirring up monstrous waves on the central province's long river, proving that his cultivation and strength were extraordinary. "Go back and tell Dongli Chihuang that we will deal with the evil spirits in the dark forest ourselves. Our world society and the desolate country will not let off anyone who dares to cross the 8,000 miles of the central province's long river." Murong Yorua walked out and looked at the extraordinary young man. He had an antique aura and was as beautiful as a fairy who had walked out of a painting. Under his long eyelashes, his eyes were filled with spiritual light, but at this moment, there was a sharp chill in them. They absolutely could not allow the Purifying Evil Alliance's army to cross the central province's long river. This was the bottom line of the desolate country and the world society. More and more signs made Murong Yorua and the others feel that once the Purifying Evil Alliance's army crossed the central province's long river, it would bring an irreversible crisis to the world society and the desolate country. The young man looked at Murong Yorua with a sharp gaze and sneered. He said in a deep voice, "Do you think your little desolate country and so-called world society can withstand the Purifying Evil Alliance's army? Ridiculous! Even if the world society can't stop them, your so-called Purifying Evil Alliance will have to pay the price in blood. If you don't believe me, you can try it." A tall old man in a gray robe stepped out. His eyes shone brightly as an extremely powerful aura spread out. The old man was the Medicine King Yi Wuming. At this moment, his cultivation level had already stepped into the 8-star level. Strictly speaking, he was already the medicine master Wu Ming. You overestimate yourselves. Do you think you can resist the purifying evil alliance? What a joke. You're just a motley crew that can't even withstand a single blow. 10 days later, I'll be waiting to flatten the desolate country. The young man looked at Master Apothecary Wu Ming. His arrogant gaze swept across the World Society's army in front of him. Gradually, a chilling intent gushed out. Ming Yuyan, your brother Ming Yuyan was the one who couldn't even withstand a single blow, right? He was killed by our World Society's president in one move. You dare to offend our World Society? You'll follow in your brother's footsteps. Li Shui spoke. Her alluring figure stepped out. Her beautiful eyes rippled with a deep emotion. After all these years of controlling the World Society's Moon Shadow Hall, Li Shui's temperament was no longer the same as when she had just walked out of Tianwu Academy. Amidst her charm, there was an absolute sense of danger. There was an invisible aura around her that no one dared to underestimate. As the Hall Master of the World Society's Moon Shadow Hall, Li Shui naturally knew of the extraordinary young man's background. Among the younger generation of the Great Wheel sect, other than Dongli Qihuang, he was one of the top existences. Back in the sealed ancient grounds, his brother Ming Yuyan led a group of people to besiege Ji Piaoling. In the end, he was killed by Du Xiaofu in one move. Bitch, you're courting death. Ming Yuyan was enraged. This time, he couldn't wait to flatten the desolate country and avenge his brother. Unfortunately, the president's decision was set for 10 days later. Hence, he had no choice but to endure. Boom. Now, at the mention of his brother's death, Ming Yuyan was instantly enraged. As he shouted coldly, a bright light exploded from his body. His figure pounced forward like a bolt of lightning. Accompanied by a palm print, he pounced directly towards Li Shui. Small, complete martial honorable, who do you think you are? A clear voice rang out. Behind Li Shui, a graceful figure appeared slowly but was actually as fast as lightning. In an instant she appeared in front of Li Shui. The beautiful figure was alluring, charming, and noble. It was Yi Zijin. Her eyes seemed to be suffused with a few waves of mist. Her face was enough to cause the downfall of a country like a fairy. Her jet-black bright eyes surged with a chill. Her delicate hand trembled. Profound qi surged. A rune swept out. The light was resplendent, and directly a fingerprint swept out. In that instant, the surrounding space seemed to have been frozen. Ming Yuyan, who was pouncing towards Li Shui, was shocked. However, it was too late. Yi Zijin's fingerprint pierced through the air like a bolt of lightning and destroyed Ming Yuyan's palm print. Then, Ming Yuyan seemed to have no power to fight back. The fingerprint flew into his palm and pierced a bloody hole. Blood spurted out. Ah! Ming Yuyan screamed in pain and spat out a mouthful of blood. His body was thrown back. Yi Ziwen stood in the air. Dazzling runes flickered on her graceful body like a bright moon in the sky. She was so beautiful and powerful that she seemed to be able to solidify the void. You're only a transcendent martial honorable. How dare you? Suddenly, a cold voice rang out from the sky like thunder. A dazzling light exploded in the sky like a holy light. Bright talisman symbols filled the sky like a holy ring. The light was as bright as the sun and turned into a dazzling vortex of talisman symbols. It enveloped Yi Zijin from the sky, and the surrounding space seemed to be on the verge of collapsing. Anyone who saw it would tremble with fear. Rumble! When the terrifying power descended, it exploded the space and caused the 8,000 miles of the central region's long river to rumble. Huge waves surged in all directions and countless demonic beasts in the water groaned in fear. When the vortex of talisman symbols descended, Yi Zijin raised her eyes and narrowed her dark eyes. The vast power was above hers. Boom! Suddenly, at that moment, another resplendent purple light shot over from the sky. It was as fast as lightning. It was an enormous purple lightning bolt in the sky. In an instant, the sky was filled with lightning and thunder. Purple electric arcs filled the sky and caused the 8,000 miles of the central region's long river to tremble violently. The purple electric arcs spread across the sky like purple silver snakes flashing in the void. The aura was vast and mighty, punishing all living things. Under such pressure, countless people in the surroundings were shocked. Their eyes were filled with shock. They could feel the terrifying aura of the purple thunderbolt. The aura was terrifying. In a short moment, the purple lightning beam swept across the sky with an overbearing force and collided violently with the resplendent vortex of talisman symbols. Rumble! The terrifying energy collided. In a short stalemate, the surrounding space exploded one after another. Bang, bang, bang! The terrifying energy surged and swept across. Purple electric arcs overflowed and bright talisman symbols spread. In the 8,000 miles of the central region's long river, it was as if countless bombs had exploded. Roar! Countless demonic beasts in the water screamed and roared. The giant ship was shaken by the huge waves. This scene shocked everyone. Countless eyes were filled with shock. The terrifying energy dissipated and a fierce figure appeared in the air. His eyes were filled with purple electric arcs. The newcomer was a well-built young man. His robe was fluttering in the wind, with black robes that reached his shoulders. His bronze skin had a faint purple glow of lightning flowing through it. He was the vice president of World Society, Du Yunlong. Dongli Chihuang, if you want to fight, I'll take it. Du Yunlong raised his eyes and looked at the space in front of him. Lightning flashed in his eyes. His expression was cold and his voice spread out. 10 days later, if the desolate country and the World Society do not retreat, we will kill without mercy. A cold voice seemed to come from the other side of the 8,000 miles of Central Region's long river. 10 days later, I'll be waiting. Du Yunlong raised his head and stood with his hands behind his back. He then looked at Ming Yuyan, whose face was pale and whose palms were covered in blood, and said, "You can get lost now. This debt is not over yet." Ming Yuyan glared at Yi Zijin with a gloomy and resentful gaze. With unwillingness, he could only leave in a panic. "Brother Yunlong, are you okay?" Yi Zijin's black eyes were filled with coldness. She walked forward and looked at Du Yunlong, who suddenly appeared. Her eyes were filled with surprise. "I'm fine. But that Dongli Chihuang is unfathomable." Du Yunlong smiled bitterly. The purple electric arcs on his body disappeared. Then his face turned pale. His eyes were filled with seriousness. "Your strength seems to have improved a lot." Master Apothecary Yi Wuming crossed the space and looked at Du Yunlong. Suddenly, there was a faint golden light in his eyes. His face was filled with shock as he said, "Peak of the exceptional realm? Greetings, Master Apothecary." Du Yunlong bowed and looked at Master Apothecary Yi Wuming. He said regretfully, "It's a pity that after cultivating in seclusion for so long, I still can't break through to the chaotic primordial realm." "You little brat." Master Apothecary Yi Wuming was speechless. He could only smile bitterly. All these years, he had watched Du Yunlong grow step by step. From the time when they were in the dark forest until now, Du Yunlong had reached the peak of the exceptional martial honorable realm in a short period of time. The peak younger generation of the One Valley, 2 churches, 3 sects, and 3 groups were only at his level. Master Apothecary Yi Wuming knew very well how scarce the cultivation resources of the Du family were. If Du Yunlong had been like the younger generation of the 9 great forces and received such resources from a young age, he would have already surpassed Zhu Shui, and Lingjun, and the others. The back waves of the Yangtze River drive the front waves, and the front waves die on the beach. Master Apothecary Yi Wuming sighed helplessly. Other than Du Xiaofu, he knew very well that the Du family had many other abnormal younger generations. In comparison, he could only blush with shame. "Vice President, where's Sister Xiaomen?" Li Shui stepped forward and asked. "Elder sister is still in seclusion. She should be coming out soon." Du Yunlong replied. He looked at the World Society and the Huang Nation army behind him with a serious look in his eyes. Dongli Chihuang will not take this lying down. According to the information given to us by the Ancient Heaven sect, Dongli Chihuang's target is the World Society and the Huang Nation. If not for the Ancient Heaven sect and the Profound Talisman sect delaying him, I'm afraid Dongli Chihuang would have taken action long ago. Murong Yurwa stepped forward and said softly, "We have to make preparations. Inform the Heavenly General Guards to return. Also, ask the Tianwu Academy for help. Also, I hope we can get in touch with Brother Qingchun." Du Yunlong looked up. Faint lightning flickered in his eyes, and his expression gradually turned sharp. "You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.